All right, everybody, welcome back into the Average Overlanders podcast in the new year for 2023. Kicking it off, I'm Jared.
And I'm Ben.
And joining us tonight, we have a returning guest here.
Dude, a returning
time.
guest for the first episode of 2020.
Awesome.
Exactly. It's good to be
Kicking
back,
it
guys.
off right.
The Twig Rig.
Yep, Adam with the Twig Rig on Instagram.
Yep. Check him out. You like sequoias.
Yep, it's becoming more and more of a project every time I wheel it.
It's always any truck you have is a project.
Dude,
Exactly.
What are you talking about?
Well, but I feel like even if I get to the point where it's, quote unquote done,
No.
it's never going to be done. Especially with me, I read on everything. I'm like, oh, I can make this better and that better.
Yeah.
coming from the guy who's literally wearing a shirt from Cletus about check engine lights.
I think it says check
you
engine
love
lights
it.
and long nights or something like that.
Long nights and check engine lights.
Yeah.
I mean, you love a project.
Oh, yeah, it's a problem. My wife doesn't agree with it all the time.
Oh,
but-
yeah, do never. No.
I still remember it wasn't just, 3 weeks ago that it was laying in the dirt?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
There was a real interesting situation that happened.
In between,
I
yeah.
had won a set of wheels at the Olaf event a while back.
yeah.
Okay, you didn't just win a set of wheels.
Well, I won a lot of other
You
stuff.
won
Everything.
Olaf.
I think it's been talked about a couple times on the podcast rather, but yeah, I won a set of wheels, a DeMello kinetic rope. I won a light bar, a few shirts, a few hats.
You won a shift pod light.
I won a
that
shift
you
pod
gave to me?
light that Ben was using for a little while in his shift pod, and there was something else that I won. I don't remember. But
So much stuff you can't remember.
50% of what was raffled, I won, and I'm never that lucky. So I'm
And we
waiting for
spent
the
the
karma to
same money.
stab me in the back.
Well,
Right.
we spent the same amount of money on tickets base. I think you spent another $10.
Yeah, I spent $150 on tickets or 160
Yeah, and I was
bucks on
close
tickets.
to that.
Totally worth it.
Yeah, the wheels alone. I to be honest, I would have been happy with just the kinetic rope because I was looking at buying one.
Right.
They're about $200. I would have been happy with just that.
Yeah.
And then I won the light bar, and then I won the tow rope, and then I won the
shift
wheels
pod light?
and the shift pod light, and
and a
all the
mug?
hats and shirts and mugs. It was just it was wild.
Anyways, it was in the dirt.
Yeah, so I won those wheels. I, for a while, was trying to sell what I had on before. So I finally found a buyer. He picked them up, and then it just sat on jack stands. Unfortunately, I don't remember what weekend it was. It was around Thanksgiving or something like that.
Yeah, it rained.
Or mid-December, rather. And then it rained real hard, and it was in a backyard that was on some stable dirt, but it was kind of soft. And when it rained,
stable dirt.
it poured that weekend when it rained.
Oh, it did.
And then it was like the little 4-post jack stands, and it just fell into the dirt, and
Sunk.
it sank. It fell pretty softly from what I could tell. The only damage, quote unquote, that there is 3 bent dust shields for brake rotors.
I just take those off. You don't
Oh
even
yeah,
need those.
I mean only one of them's torn, in thin metal tears.
Yeah.
Only one of them did that, but the other 2 were kind of just bent. And to be honest, I didn't even bend them back. I just made sure they weren't touching anything. And it just did Mojave just fine. So
Hey, it captured some, river grass? What'd you call it?
Yeah, swamp grass.
swamp grass because it smelled absolutely terrible.
Swamp grass?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, it's
Because you're able to fit, you got some 35s on there now.
yeah, I've stepped up to 35s,
boys.
and I think we were talking about it before, but I wanted to step up the tire size, and I ended up going with Kenda Cleaver RTs and a 35-10-5
And where'd you get those?
Walmart.
Walmart.
Walmart,
Yeah,
dude,
you found them at Walmart.
$236 a tire.
Really?
For 35.
35s?
Yeah, a set of
That's a
4
fucking deal.
35s for under $1,000, or it was $1,028 shipped,
Wow.
and it was 2 days shipping.
That's freaking
So to
not
be
bad.
honest, the review is still pending, the full review.
Yeah,
but I've had
yeah.
them in mud, I've had them in soft sand, I've had them in hard pack, rain on asphalt, and I have 0 complaints so far. So if I only get 30,000 miles out of them, I'm still going to buy them again.
Right.
At that price, you can't make an argument for a 35, not at all.
No.
They
That's
look
crazy.
good too.
Yeah, no.
Oh no, they are a beautiful tire. And
Yeah.
also one thing that I didn't notice when I bought them was there are 2 different sidewall letterings. So you can have a more aggressive lettering that's raised off and it looks better.
Oh, really?
And then you have
Is that the inside or outside?
Yeah, an inside or
okay,
outside.
the
The
white
sidewall's
wall
the same.
versus
Used to be white lettering.
Yeah.
and then
Yeah,
not.
yeah. It used to be white versus black
Yeah,
as far as the lettering goes, but now it's a raised lettering versus a more subtle on the sidewall.
Really?
The sidewall pattern's the same, but like I said, I have 0 complaints, and now I'm also on those Icon beadlocks that I got at Olaf. So rig looks a lot different because I raised the front an inch. Now it's on 35s versus 33s, and I have sliders since the last time I was on here and rear locker. So a few things have changed that are real important stuff.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
you put on sliders because you were on a little trail. And,
Yep. put
Learned
on
his
some
lesson.
sliders, learned my lesson. And ironically, I actually crunched the body again with the sliders.
Really?
Yeah, the guy that I'm working with prototyping, I think more or less he took the length of like a 100 series Land Cruiser or a 5th Gen 4Runner, which he already makes sliders for, and then just put the brackets that mount it to the Sequoia frame. And then he more or less wanted me to tell him where changes need to be made.
Yeah, right here where the dent on my body is.
Yeah, so it was like right here where it needs to be 4 inches longer. Do that there and in the back.
Every inch counts, bro.
Dude, every inch counts. But it ended up basically just being like almost 10 inches too short in terms of like overall coverage, which is a lot. But like when you look at it on the car, it doesn't look that bad just because of the way it's centered. So he should be making a new set for me. But I did crunch my my front passenger side fender a little bit. So it is.
Can't even tell.
Eh.
Well, I bent it back on the trail, but that was from Cold Mountain doing the gatekeeper with too little a tire and not enough articulation, not enough protection kind of deal. I mean, did it without any sort of belly sliders, so everything, all the fluids are still in it, so we're good.
Yeah.
And that was with the 33, so I kind of want to go back and do it again with the 35s to
See what the difference is
in terms of performance,
That'd be rad.
So.
And that was Gold Mountain, you said?
Yeah, Gold Mountain up in Big Bear. So one of the Jeep Badge of Honor trails.
Yeah, we drove by that.
Yeah, because it has that shale rock, if I remember, and it's like very sharp.
The boneyard section, I think, can be known to slice a couple tires, but also there's just some of the switchbacks have some somewhat razor bladey style corners.
Yeah,
but it did all right for its first Jeep Badge of Honor trail and first of many, I guess.
You earned that badge.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I could have a badge, it would have it. So
You can order them online, right?
Yeah.
you have to have a Jeep though.
No, you don't.
You have to go on the app and then you have
true.
to check in with
Well,
your VIN
supposedly.
number at the trailhead. So like a Toyota can't have the Jeep Badge of Honor. Now technically my dad is a WJ. I could probably figure it out.
Get Nepo.
Yeah.
He'll order you one.
Yeah, that's a possibility too. It'd be a little sacrilegious. It might piss a couple people off, but that might be
Have a
kinda fun.
Jeep badge
That might
on
be
the-
kinda
I
fun.
think that's the move,
all
dude.
the badges on the side. Everybody's like, what the
Furious.
No more Jeep waves for me ever again.
Yeah.
People are going to start putting rubber
I was gonna say maybe I'll get a rubber ducky.
the rubber duckies on your freaking Sequoia. We got to get them like little tree branches. That's what we'll get them.
Like the little air freshener Christmas trees.
Oh.
We'll just start hanging those on your
That's the
truck
new.
We could start a
that's-
trend.
Yeah.
for the
But those
Sequoias.
it's not a Sequoia though.
That's true.
Yeah,
It's fine.
What,
a
Douglas
redwood or
fir.
Doug- yeah, Douglas fir.
Yeah, like the one sitting here by the table.
Throwback to
We're very festive.
Right on. Yeah. Well, tonight, I mean, we both had some adventures, or actually all three of us. But when I say both, Adam and I
Two
went on
different
an adventure.
groups, yeah.
And then Jared went on an adventure.
Yeah.
So
a little getaways for the weekend. Had the long New Year's holiday weekend. So why not take advantage of it?
Yeah, started off the new year right. Let's be honest, out on
Yeah.
the trail, having a good time.
Weekend one, already out in adventure, and I love it.
Hell yeah.
yeah, no, it was definitely an interesting weekend because we had some weather in Southern California. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know.
Finally.
Did you guys see what happened in Sacramento? Did you see some of the videos from all the flooding?
No.
Yeah, weren't they like riding kayaks down the street?
Dude, people were on jet skis, bro.
Hell
Yeah, it's like what happens in Florida when they get a lot of rain.
Yeah,
they
yeah,
just start
yeah.
riding jet skis and kayaks down the
That was in Sacramento?
Yes.
I mean, I feel like a lot of waterways out there, but
Yeah, I remember driving through with you
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
Mini Cooper on our little adventure, but the sides of the highway looked like it was the guy even made a comment. He was like, "I feel like I am legend right now driving down the road
all
like
apocalyptic and
he was
shit.
post-apocalyptic."
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And there was a couch out there.
Just floating.
Yeah, but not floating. No, it was all
They're all paddling on a couch.
the water had gone down, the water levels, and it
Yeah.
left all the debris all over. So you saw shit like everywhere. And it was funny because as he's driving, I was like, "Oh, somebody had a street sideshow because there's all the rubber marks and the donuts and everything in the middle of the highway." And I was just like, "Oh, that didn't wash off."
Yeah, that ain't going away.
So yeah, no, but we had a little bit of weather this weekend over New Year's.
we needed it though. California's so dry. So
Yep, rain and snow, all over the place. I mean, even when we were where we were at Mojave Trail, it snowed a little bit on us for a tad bit. New Year's morning.
oh, you guys get a little
It
snow?
melted immediately, but
was,
it did
yeah.
land on Allie's jacket, and she took a picture, and she had some snow on her
Proof.
jacket.
I had
Yeah.
proof. Yeah.
I got proof. And yeah, it was a good trip. That was the first time I've ever ran Mojave Trail. And I already want to go back again, to be honest.
Yeah, it was pretty
The
dope.
there's so much to explore. You can't you could run it once and then go back another time and see completely new scenery.
Well, there's the Heritage Trail that we need to do next time.
That's the one I
Yeah.
did with the Heritage Trail, and that's a lot of fun.
So I guess there's like 4 or 5 different sections of that trail, and it adds up to like 700 plus miles.
I know the Heritage Trail, I think, is 3 sections, but then there's like all the other ones as
there's like
well.
all the different add-ons. I think there's like 4. So we went to one of the mailboxes, but I guess there's like another 3 or 4 mailboxes other than that.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different ones out there. Yeah.
Well, the mailbox was on the Frog Shrine. That's the one we went
The
to.
original Frog Shrine, yeah.
I think that's
like the
mailbox
main
number 1.
Yeah,
And then number 2 they removed a while back.
yeah, that's
And
at
then
the
there's still,
Goth
like-
Museum now.
And then there's still like 3 through 6 or whatever that are out there.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, we had some weather, and going back to how much weather we got, like up north, like what is it? The Sierras. Sorry, I was like blanking on the mountain range. I just read an article that it's the most snowpack they've had in the past 10 years.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
We needed it bad.
Oh well,
well, I
yeah.
mean, there's more coming this week and
And-
Oh
next.
yeah, we're gonna get hammered this week.
Exactly. And guess what? Next weekend, not this weekend coming up, but next weekend, I'm going to be in Big Bear because we rented a cabin.
Oh, dope. Oh,
For the kids.
You might have to take the Colorado up there just to get there.
We were going to take it anyways.
yeah.
But yeah,
We're going to take the new puppy too, the adventure
Oh, that's
dog.
right.
Oh, hell yeah.
yeah, buddy.
Yeah, we pick him up next week. So, anyways, but yeah, so I want to kind of hear about your trip because I don't think we talked about our snow run that we did. You missed out on that trip.
Oh yeah, you guys went like basically did the same route that
it's
we
the
did,
exact same route
but like
you did.
the weekend before or something like that, or 2 weekends like prior, right?
oh,
Yeah,
that was the weekend that I was working on the Silkway getting the 35s to fit. To be honest,
Yeah,
Oh,
it
that's
was
right,
because
that's
he was
right.
like, I'm trying to make it. I'm trying to make it. And he's like, nah, I can't.
Not
make
gonna
it.
happen. Not gonna force it.
busted
yeah.
out a 4-pound sledge and stalls all and made it fit.
Shit.
Yeah. So the trail that we're talking about is the Burns Canyon Road. Is that?
Yeah,
what
yeah,
it's
Burn
called?
Canyon.
Yeah.
Yeah, right where you kind of start out near
Pioneer Town, right?
Yeah, it's Pioneer Town out by like Palm Springs area and all that Yucca Valley and everything. Near Joshua Tree.
Yeah, and when we went up there because we wanted to do a snow run, but there was no snow on the Burns Canyon Trail. We actually had to go to Holcomb Valley to see the snow, but not everybody went with us on that part of it. But
Yeah.
I know when you went because I saw the video, and
Yeah.
the footage, and everything. It was the storm that came through on us on Mojave.
Yep.
they
We were getting hit at the
experienced
same time.
it on the
Yeah.
backside of Big Bear. So,
Yeah.
do you want to kind of kick it off with your trip? And
Sure, yeah, I'll roll into it. Yeah, it was myself, and then Nepo 4122, and wife, kids, Camilla, and
we've had them on the
yeah, they were
podcast.
on the podcast a while back. They were in their Gladiator, and then Kevin Cade Jurgensen
Yeah,
TV,
Kate Jorgensen TV.
or Overland 4Low. He had his Jeep as well, and we actually tried to go up the other route, the other way up.
Rattlesnake Canyon or
Rattlesnake.
something.
What was it? The highway. I'm blanking on the numbers.
So 173.
The main, basically the opposite direction we went. Where you go up to, we were going to go up into Big Bear and then run it backwards, basically.
Oh, the 18
Oh.
or 38,
Yeah.
38.
38, yes.
Yeah.
And there was we were, we all met up at our meeting spot, at the bottom of the hill, and it turned out there was an accident, and they had the roads were all closed. We're like,
Of
well,
course.
fuck. So we did. That's when we decided to divert and go out towards Pioneer Town and run it that way. So it was like another hour drive to get to that spot to start it off, which actually turned out perfectly because you start out in the kind of desert and you kind of build your way up, and then it wasn't like that one trip we did where the Land Rover broke down. It wasn't that low of elevation of snow, but
Oh, it wasn't.
no, it took a little while before we got up to the snow. There was little flurries. So it was rad. It just started out perfect. So right when you're coming up, just before you get to Pioneer Town, you're in those boulders and all that, and then there's a rainbow and all this shit. Oh, it's a good sign,
Joshua
and then,
trees and everything.
yeah. And then then we started rolling through, and it's just kind of nice and scenic area. And then all of a sudden we start getting some little light flurries coming in, and then all of a sudden everything starts getting dusted with snow, and then it just gradually built up, which was rad.
So tell me this because we did it a couple weeks prior to you, and it was a little bit more gnarly than ruts and stuff like that, especially on the hill climb thing and where the Subarus had to get some speed
a little momentum,
to hit it.
yeah. There were a couple spots where it rutted out, and then where it had kind of there was some snow on the ground. It was pretty slippery. You know, you'd slide like, you know, back into those ruts and stuff, you know, like you're trying to stay up high out of them and slide right back into them and shit. So
Yeah, it's kind of clayy over there.
yeah, it's slick.
We ran it once when it was snowing real heavy. That was actually my first trip with the Overland 4Low group. And yeah, it sounds pretty similar to what you experienced, where it was definitely relatively high elevation that it started snowing on us, but it was like all of a sudden it started snowing pretty heavy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like the higher up we got, all of a sudden just getting heavier and heavier, and all of a sudden we're just getting pelted with like, you know, big old flakes. We're like, holy shit, it's actually coming down.
Yeah.
Which was rad, you know. And it wasn't I thought it was gonna be like just packed with people. I mean, freaking
because
holiday
the road's
weekend.
going up there.
Yeah, and like there's only one road up there now, and freaking, you know, there's snow, so everyone wants to go out to see the snow.
Yeah, this was like that was like the second snow of the season basically too. So I'm really surprised to hear that it wasn't a zoo.
No, yeah, like right when we got there to the entrance, kind of where you air down, there was like 3 Jeeps kind of parked there and a couple Tacomas or something like that. And then we got onto the trail, and then we ran into a group in front of us. It's probably like there's maybe like 6 to 8 rigs in front of us, and they were just going slow, and eventually they pulled over and then we just passed them, and then after that we didn't see any other groups. It was rad. Like,
you know what's weird about the New Year's, and we experienced a very similar thing, which was there was no one on the Mojave Trail.
Really? I thought
We
like
saw-
holiday weekend.
I think we saw 4 vehicles.
Really?
Total.
Like one
And
Jeep.
Maybe the weather just
really
scared them
hard.
away.
It must be the weather. Because to be honest, when we were all talking about going to the Mojave, when Ben added me to the group chat, my first thing I said was, hey, there's a lot of road closures, and like I've never done Mojave, so I don't know how flat it was or how not flat it was, but I know how like desert flat gets with a lot of rain. Like that's how you like flash floods.
Yeah.
All of a sudden your car
washed away
a mile further away from you than
Yeah.
it was when you started.
Well, we planned it so that we were watching the weather really closely.
Yeah.
And we'll get into our story, but we only saw a couple vehicles.
Really?
And one of them was a black Jeep with a girl in it who was lost, and
Oh, shit.
she had her dog with her. And it was right by the lava tubes area, and it was like a crossroads to the lava tubes.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't know where to go, and blah blah blah. I'm like, because all those road closures.
Yeah, you shouldn't go out there, especially in that kind of weather by yourself. That's sketchy.
And she was running out of gas.
I think she had a quarter tank when you found her. Yeah.
Really?
Less than she had 70 miles left.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah,
like,
she was not prepared.
yeah, no, and she didn't have any warm clothing. It looked like she was just in like
Just
a
winging it.
tracksuit type deal.
Yeah, so she was probably 15 miles from asphalt, and that section of asphalt's probably another 20 to 30 miles from anywhere that's got a gas station.
Oh, at least. And I even
Yeah, she didn't have
wanted
a game plan at all.
No.
I didn't know how much gas we were actually burning through because I added my gas, and God, we're already getting into our story. But the whole point is that we only saw like a couple vehicles.
Yeah.
The whole 150 some odd miles we did off road.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like you had basically the same experience.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It's
We
weird
expected
'cause,
way more.
I mean, when I hear it's going to snow, it's like I'm trying to rearrange my weekend.
Yeah.
To go hit the first snow, whether I've got the new tires or not. Like I'm trying to figure out when can I hit the snow.
Yeah, afterwards, right? People are like, "Oh, thanks for the fucking invite."
Yeah, everybody's
always,
all butt chapped about it because they didn't get the invite.
yeah.
And then they go off on their trails, and then
Yeah.
you hit
I
it
never
back,
get an
and they're like,
well.
and you're like, and that is why you didn't get an invite. No, I'm just kidding.
No. Yeah, no, it was great. Like we ended up, we did see one gentleman. It was funny because like we passed him. He was just kind of parked off to the side into the Jeep, you know, and did a little wave. Hey, how's it going? Just kept on driving. And then all of a sudden we're down the trail for a ways, and all of a sudden he caught up to us. And we're like, oh shit, you know, we got 3 vehicles. Let's pull over, let him pass. You know, we might be going a little slower. And then he actually pulled up next to us, and the same thing. He's like, oh, hey, I'm just kind of out here by myself. You know, and I saw you guys coming. I figured I'd just kind of tag along with you guys if that's all right. Right? Yeah, more the merrier. You know, obviously join us. You know, especially if you're by yourself, it's safer, obviously. So
Yeah.
he ended up rolling with us the rest of the way afterwards. But yeah, nice guy.
Yeah, you were telling me about that because I guess he said, "Oh, I was hoping you would have gone straight because there was more snow."
Yeah, we took the 102, and he's like, oh, if you go to the 101, it's actually a little bit deeper snow over there. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know. You know, I know this route, and this drops back to where we wanted to be, so we just ran, you know.
Did you guys take it to where it drops you like up by like Lake Baldwin?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, exactly. So, so it was fun. Like we were rolling. Actually got into some snow, which was rad. Even like it was beautiful. It was just everything just coated, just everything just coated in white. It was rad. you know, and there's snow coming down pretty much the entire trail. You know, it wasn't super heavy all the time, but like there's constantly snow coming. And we pulled over by that little mine shaft. There's like a little mine shaft. And
There's actually quite a few up there.
yeah, there's a bunch of them actually, if you know where they're at. This one's pretty accessible right from the trail. If you know it's there, you can look and you can see it. And like, I guess they hadn't seen it before, so it was kind of cool, a new experience for them and stuff. And the kids were all into it and stuff. But you know, they have all the bars in there blocking it off, so you can't go down into the mine shaft.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody actually like went through, and this time I'm like, oh yeah, it's all blocked off. You can't get through. And like we get up there, and like somebody actually like sawzawed it and like cut the bars.
Jeez.
So you could have
imagine.
actually squeezed in there and I'm like,
No.
I ain't chancing that shit, dude.
I could imagine somebody taking like a high lift jack and like
Yeah.
Bending them off.
spread it apart.
Oh yeah, no, you could have squeezed in there easy. Yeah,
Wild.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a little.
Well, when we went a couple weeks prior to you, we had the Charming Forerunner.
Yeah.
And her kind of job is to kind of monitor those types of things.
Oh, for real? I didn't know.
Yeah,
that.
she
Okay.
works for like the National Park Service.
Yeah.
She doesn't work for them, but she works for like I don't know. It's something weird. But she was telling us that she like goes down the trails and makes sure everything's good.
All saved
and-
off. Well, if
Yeah.
you're listening, you know.
Oh, you know she's
yeah, she-
listening.
It wasn't us.
No, it wasn't me. I swear.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, so that was pretty sweet. You know, it was kind of fun. Stopped, took a break there, played around, let kids stretch, dogs get out.
Did you bring a sled or anything?
I totally fucking forgot to bring my sleds. Nepo was smart enough to bring some, but there wasn't like any like deep enough snow to like throw the sleds out yet. Our whole plan was to finish that trail and then head up toward, like you said, up to Holcomb Valley, because that's where
Yeah.
most of the snow would be.
Yeah, because you go by Gold Mountain.
Yep.
The
Yeah.
exit to
Yep.
Gold Mountain.
Yeah.
They, like the exits on the north side of Lake Baldwin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because we drove by that on the way out. But then like we were going through, and after that little area, there's decent little area, a couple of different decent little areas where there's some deeper mud puddles to play around in a little bit. And
Oh, we did the same ones, I'm
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I think everybody hits those, you know. And so we played around that a little bit, you know. I might have played a little too much in those.
Sent her a little too hard there,
Yeah,
Bub.
sent her a little too hard. And so, and it's funny because I joked around, like, you know, I got rid of my Land Rover because I was sick of looking at all the lights on my dash. I think I have more lights on my fucking Tundra dash now than I did on the Land Rover, but
It's a Toyota.
yeah. So it
Yep.
yeah, good old Toyota reliability. No,
Got you off the trail,
Got
though.
me home. Got me home. No, yeah, it started throwing all the lights. Like it actually went in idle for a while, and I had to let it dry out. Basically, and first thing I did, obviously, pop my air box. That thing was bone dry. A couple pine needles in there, but you know, it was bone dry. But yeah, I just had to drive it for a little bit, and the idle problem went away. But the 4 low, 4 high, traction control, ABS lights are all flashing on the dash. So
So you had like the Toyota equivalent of the 3 Amigos.
yeah, basically, that the four Amigos showed up.
The
So
4 Amigos.
Yeah.
yeah, so it's just the diff actuator or whatever is toast.
Is
So-
that why all the Toyota guys are like gangs? It's got a gang of lights. dude.
Gang o' lights.
Gang of lights, dude.
Yeah, so it was an expensive mud puddle, you know, like $700 mud puddle. It was worth it. Not.
Yeah. But
I kind of had a similar experience in the Mojave Trail. We'll get there.
Okay. Yeah.
But you actually one of our the people who has been on the podcast.
Yeah,
Also a loyal listener.
Yes. Yeah. Chris.
yeah.
Cosmo Rock, where I drove down there today, and he checked it out, and he's kind of, yeah, you're kind of fucked, dude. That's kind of. He did the same thing with his Tundra, so he's like, yeah, I know exactly what's going on here. Just bring it back tomorrow. We'll order the parts up. So.
That's kind of the beauty of having somebody like him who has
Yeah.
the same truck as you, basically.
Yeah. Well, not even that. I mean, and like that's why I took it to him, because he's a solid guy, and I trust he's gonna, you know, you know,
Yeah.
you
I'm
know.
just saying, because like he knew right away
Yeah.
what it was. Probably he knew where to start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the bonus of like making friends with people who have the same kind of rig. It's
Yeah.
you can
He's like,
save,
oh yeah, I fucked mine up too.
Yeah.
you can
I know
save
that.
so
You don't even have
much.
to like get into detail. Like, oh, just stop right there. I already
Stop right
know.
there. I did
Yeah.
that 6 months ago. This is the exact part. Here's the part number.
Yeah, he knew right
20
what
minute
to
job.
order. Yeah, yeah. So, like, if you're in SoCal, North County area, mind a key down in Escondido, man. Yeah, he talked to. Yeah, he'll hook it up, and he'll be honest. He's a friend of the overland community, so
That's awesome.
yeah. So yeah, we got back down. We near the lake, and we were kind of where you normally would air up and stuff like that. We did that, and I'm like, hey, we were going to go up to Holcomb Valley, and I'm like, yeah, I think I want to limp it home. I just want to get home.
Cut
At
my
that
losses
point.
now.
That's where the big puddles were. So you missed all.
Yeah, I didn't even
big
get up to the
puddles.
big puddles.
Which is weird,
That was
'cause-
deep as shit. Like I'm on 37s, and they were underwater.
Yeah, there's a few that happen in Burns Canyon when it rains real heavy. Kind of almost, I would say a couple miles into where the snow actually starts to really hit the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't know, I'd say like 20 yards long, and they'll swallow a 37. Now, not to say like you'll get stuck.
No.
But there's 4 feet of standing water in some of these areas.
And people don't realize it how deep it is.
yeah.
And that's where the WJ, remember the Jeep
Yeah, we
that
came
went
up
through
onto
it,
him, and
and
he's
he
like-
hydrolocked his motor.
He's like, hey,
That's rough. Yeah, see, because I remember, I know exactly where you did
Yeah.
it because Nepo had a same video that we had from last year when I went with them.
oh, he was telling me about that too. Yeah.
And like, I remember when he broke the ice on that one, and nobody really knew how deep it was going to
yeah, he was saying that.
So he
He's
kind of like rolled onto it, and then it just fell through, and he's like, well, I guess I'm already in.
Yeah.
So I think Camilla was driving at the time, so she just pushed her way through. But it was,
yeah, he said there's like chunks of ice on his fucking grill and
Yeah, it
stuff.
was-
Yeah.
Oh
was
yeah,
wild.
I've seen videos of people do that. They're breaking through the ice, and then like their whole like front end just gets ripped apart.
Yeah.
yeah, you almost needed somebody with like a metal front bumper to break that ice
Push
kind of
through
thing.
it.
I thought about it, I was like, oh,
Well, yeah,
what
you
if I
can
was-
fuck up your radiator. A big chunk of ice goes through.
Oh yeah, like rip your front bumper off, your fog lights, everything, like all the stuff that you need to get home safely in the snow.
No, yeah.
Your light bars,
Yeah.
Oh, light bars, most important thing.
your
Yellow- amber lights.
your Raptor lights.
Exactly, your
Yeah.
grill's gone too. Screw the radiator. Where's my Raptor lights?
Oh,
Well, that's
man.
what happened to me. Like, cause like,
Is that the puddle
There-
you went through?
yeah. Well, there, yeah.
It's literally like a 30,
Well, no, I
it's like a
didn't-
20 to 30 yard puddle, and it kind of goes up again, and then it goes back down.
Yeah, and then it hits a second puddle. Yeah. Well, so there's 4 of us, and I was last in the line, and I was lagging a bit. So they all kind of went, and like I was way back, so I didn't even see them go through.
Oh yeah.
So like they took off, and I was like doing some shit, getting stuff ready. I'm like, oh shit, I'm coming, I swear. And then like I'm like, oh shit, they already went through. So I didn't see them go through. And if you watch our video, like they all creep through it. They dropped in all nice and slow and rolled through. I'm like, okay. And I'm like trying to catch up to everybody a little bit. And I'm like, I see it. I'm like, okay, I'm going in. I'm like, oh fuck, this is deep. I didn't realize how deep it was. I'm like, fuck, I better just push it a little bit harder just to make sure I get through. And yeah, I may push it a little bit too hard.
I think when I did that one, like the water was up over my headlights.
Yeah, I had it come over my hood. Yeah.
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 Ooh, no, you're lucky you didn't do worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time I hit him, I puddle hard enough. I'm like, this could be the one that I lose the motor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is this the one?
Is this the one?
This is the one that did
Because
me
I
in.
want to say there was an event last year, like midsummer, because there was a summer rain, and I want to say 4 guys hydrolocked sequoias at this event. It wasn't like a sequoia event either. It was like over the course of a weekend, it was like 4 sequoias. Which, first of all, there's never 4 sequoias in the wild in the same
yeah,
area.
yeah,
It was
yeah. Where
really
the hell
weird.
do you
First of all,
find
they
4?
must have all been friends, to be honest. But I think 2 or 3 of them hydrolocked like the first day,
Dang.
and I'm like, I need a snorkel.
Yeah.
It's so true. I mean, I worry less about that kind of stuff with my snorkel on my Colorado.
Yeah.
You know, people call
Peace
them
of mind.
the Dorkle. and everything else. Like,
Dorkle.
honestly, I don't care.
Yeah.
'Cause
I mean,
it works.
it's like cheap insurance. It's like getting a good alignment right after you get new tires. Like you just bought a truck and that motor's $10,000.
Yeah.
Like under warranty, new car stuff, whatever. It's $10,000 and you spend $100 or $200, even $500 on a snorkel. Well, that just saved you like a $10,000 bill and a lot of anger and a lot of F words.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right on.
exactly.
Yeah. I wish that the Tundra ones are, God, they're so ugly.
Oh, they are.
They're so huge.
Yeah.
Big, massive things sticking off the side. And like,
Kind of reminds me of the Lexus GX.
yeah, they're
Like,
just
they have massive.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to lie. A lot of the cars have some just really poor snorkel designs,
Yeah.
partially because the stock boxes are in terrible locations.
Yeah. Well, there's one company I found that like that makes actually a decent looking one, a little more streamlined, like tighter to the A-pillar and stuff like that. But all the reviews are people just trashing them. Like it's like a shit design or something, blah blah blah.
Not enough airflow. My
basically,
V8's not getting enough air.
It's starving for air. Yeah, so that's why they're so fucking big. But it just looks so fucking dumb on there. But I might still have to get one. I don't know.
I don't
A
know,
little
man.
snorkel upgrade. But no, who just got a snorkel?
Who?
As is Overland.
Oh,
He got one for Christmas. Yeah, baby.
He's got a 4-wheel drive swap that car.
Yeah, he got
No,
everything
never.
else except
Never.
for 4-wheel drive.
That motherfucker has a snorkel, but he doesn't have 4-wheel
He
drive.
will run that motherfucker into the ground before he gets a fucking 4-wheel drive.
To his credit,
Hey,
when has he needed
he's
4-wheel drive?
gotten everywhere just fine with that 2-wheel drive.
Good point. Good point.
Third
But
gen
I will
4Runner.
say he picks and chooses. He cherry picks.
I was gonna say I didn't want to like.
There's no shame in taking the bypass.
I didn't want to throw some shade in there, but there's definitely some cherry picking.
Hey,
And honestly, in a 2-wheel drive that's rear-wheel drive, especially, well, he's got a selectable locker. Going up to Big Bear in the snow and the ice, that could be
yeah.
sketchy.
I was gonna say,
we
I think
were-
the only reason it's not sketchy for him is because his rig is so loaded down.
yeah,
Like he's got the weight
he's
distribution heavy in the
Yes.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but like he's not into it for the rock crawling. He's not trying to do that stuff. He just wants the adventure of going out and finding cool locations
yeah.
and the sites and getting away from people, and it serves the purpose.
Well,
So,
the irony behind
you don't
us
need a
making-
4-wheel drive. You can be in a fucking 2-wheel drive fucking station wagon. Fuck it, just get out there and have some fun.
And the irony behind us making fun of the fact that he's not 4-wheel drive is you and I both had 4-wheel drive problems this last year.
Yeah, exactly right. Like, all
But
right,
we both had
wah,
problems
wah,
of
wah.
is it going to come out of 4-wheel drive or is it even capable of getting out of 2-wheel drive?
Yeah.
Or is it just stuck in
that's
neutral?
Right. That's right. You got
That was-
right before the water crossing.
Yeah,
you had
right
issues.
before the end of Mojave Trail, I almost had to rip apart the end of my transfer case.
Oh shit.
Because, well, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
We'll get into that.
Well, yeah, like I was at, we got to the end of the trail for me at least, and like that was my thing, like because like all my lights were flashing. I'm like, fuck, I hope I can get it out of 4-wheel drive because I got a fucking 2-hour or well, not including traffic, but yeah, 2-hour drive home straight. So I'm like, I was able to get into 2-wheel drive, but now I can't get it back into 4-wheel drive. So I was good
At
on
least
that
you
point.
got out.
Yeah. And then they Nepo and Kevin went on to. We all went down into the village to try and find lunch. Good fucking luck because every
Oh
place
my
is
God.
packed.
Yeah,
Don't
so
even try.
the trails weren't busy, but the town
The town was busy, yeah. Plus, everybody's snowboarding and they come into town and stuff.
Well, that night,
but
I'll bet you all the Airbnbs were booked.
Oh,
everybody
everything was
looking
Well,
for
that's
slammed.
that's where our cabin is.
Yeah.
It's right near the downtown.
oh, this could be a
area.
madhouse, yeah.
It's gonna be a madhouse.
But they went and did some night wheeling after I left them. You know?
Oh, okay.
So
I
they
know.
had
I
some
know.
more
Kevin
fun.
just posted a video on the K Jorgensen TV
Yeah,
over
yeah.
on the 4 page, so I need to check that out. I
Yeah,
haven't
it's
seen
pretty good. Yeah, that'll be a little recap of our trip as well. So, but then like it was sketch because we had to leave, and they're closing all the roads. It's like chains only.
Just like they were when we went out.
Exactly. So it was chains only, 4-wheel drive, all that kind of shit, right? And
They
I
require
did-
chains, even if you have the snowflake on the tire.
oh well, I guess I don't know.
It depends on how savvy the guy is. Telling
Yeah,
you
if
to do
he's
chains.
yeah.
Because technically they can require a 4x4 no matter the tire to have chains if it's like R1 conditions, I think,
Okay.
or R3. I don't know if my numbers are backwards.
I don't even know what that means.
There's basically 3 levels: R1, R2, R3, and there's basically that's what CHP or whatever governing body goes over for whether you need chains or 4x4 or whatnot.
Yeah. So like we were heading out, and my 4x4 didn't work. So, but I'm like, looks like a 4x4.
I got it.
Yeah, I swear. And all the roads were completely iced over,
Oof.
and
That's actually the worst part.
yeah. And so we're in the backside in the shade. And the temps were like it was 27 degrees.
Yeah.
So everything's fucking frozen. And there was accidents along the road. So you're just stopped and you're going uphill, and all of a sudden like, okay, we can move a little bit. And everybody just slide fishtailing all over the place, trying to get traction. Like just like, okay, we got to start going uphill. I'm like, even with, me, I'm like, come on, baby. I was just like, kind of feathering it, gas, brake. Come on. They're like, just, oh yeah, we're moving. We're good.
Yeah.
But dude, the amount of fucking assholes on the road in the fucking that condition is mind-boggling, dude.
Well, yeah, because they're all California people and they don't even know how to drive when it's wet, let alone snowy or icy.
No, like, okay, so it's a single lane roads, one lane going each way, right?
Yeah.
We're fucking at a dead stop because there's accidents up ahead, and motherfuckers would literally pull into oncoming traffic.
Sorry, children listening.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
It's properly angering.
yes. And parents, if you have your children listening, shame on you.
That's your own fault.
That's on you. You knew better.
We are labeled explicit, I think.
We should be. But no, so these guys 3 different vehicles did this. Pulled into oncoming traffic on icy roads and just fucking mob down the oncoming lanes, and then would
people
at
were
the
in their
last
way?
second would like swerve back in wherever he found a spot, just trying to like leapfrog around people. It's like, dude, none of us are going anywhere. We're stuck here. And like it was sweet.
I bet there are other cars a BMW.
Yeah, I know. Well, there's
I was gonna say, were there any blinkers
no,
used
well,
probably
in the
There's-
making of this episode?
there's no, yeah, that would be a BMW. But like, so at one point we're sitting there, and then like an emergency vehicle is coming by us, right? Flashing lights. So we're like, okay, we're sitting there waiting, and he passes us, and then this F-150 with a ladder rack on him pulls out and starts following him down the road. And he's like driving in, in oncoming traffic, and he's just chasing that guy and like trying to get around
The
everybody.
emergency vehicle.
Yeah,
That's
He's
great.
falling right behind that guy. I'm like, what a fucking asshole.
Would have been really good if you got in an accident.
Sure
in that
enough,
ambulance.
we about 45 minutes down the road, once we're finally going, he's on the side of the road in handcuffs.
Good.
He is?
Yep, they fucking somebody,
good,
one of the highway
plate?
patrol fucking caught him, and he's in the handcuffs on the side of the road. And we're like, yes, everybody was like just so
Sweet
stoked.
karma.
So hold on, like how long? Like you said, 45 minutes from
Well, I
when
mean-
you saw him do it to like when you saw.
But I
him
mean,
in
we weren't
handcuffs?
moving. We're moving like
Mile a minute.
yeah, if that, like we move like 5 car lengths, stop, sit there for like another like 10 minutes, 5 car lengths, stop.
Oh, because they were probably alternating traffic.
Yeah,
Whatever,
exactly.
makes
They're
sense.
just kind of letting the flow go and stuff like that. But
He
like,
was following an emergency vehicle on the shoulder.
On oncoming traffic.
into oncoming traffic. So people were having to split to let the emergency vehicle through, and he just jumped in behind him and just started fucking following him. And
I
then,
bet you the ambulance was like, "Hey, we got some."
yeah, we got a
dickhead
douchebag following us right now. And like, I was so livid. And like when we saw him, like we were just like so happy. Made my day. I didn't even care about sitting in traffic at that point. I was like, yes,
Made it worth it.
made it worth it 100%. At least one guy got it. But there was like, even like once we were up to speed, there's still people like cutting off into, we were moving like 45 miles an hour on icy roads, and people were cutting into oncoming traffic on curves. It's at night, it's dark, and it's just
I bet you almost all the accidents that happened were from people.
is because of shit like that, probably.
Well, remember when we went up with
That 4Runner.
Tony, that 4Runner, he was like blazing by.
Blew by us,
And it
dude. We
was
couldn't barely
funny.
even see, dude. We're whiteout conditions.
And he blew by us, and I still remember Jared and I talking about it. We're like, yeah, that on the radio, I think is what
Yeah.
it was. We were like, yeah, that guy's totally gonna get in a wreck. Literally 5 minutes later, he's on his lid,
Yeah, flipped over.
flipped over, and we were like,
I mean,
You're a dumbass.
He fucked around and found out.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly.
fuck around.
Before you can find out.
He didn't follow the chart, man. Shit. Yeah. No, so I mean, other than that, like, yeah, we got home finally. Took us forever, but we finally got home safe and all that stuff. And like, they went up, played in the snow a little bit more, had some fun. So yeah, it was a great trip.
That's cool, man.
First snow of the season. Can't wait to go play
Well, it
some
was
more.
actually technically the
Well,
second.
no, first snow of the season for me.
Oh God.
I think that's the first chance I got to go play. So.
Yeah, because we were trying to make it up for the other one, but then it got really hot the week after, and it melted
Melted
everything.
everything.
Yeah, it was weird. We
Yeah.
had like a rain shower, snowstorm, and it was the hottest recorded early winter days or weeks or whatever in
It was like
years.
in the 80s or something stupid.
Yeah.
It was like,
For like a week sustained. Like even Big Bear was up in the like upper 70s. It was weird.
Yeah, it was weird. But then now we have like a crazy storm system that
the
just lowered
tsunami
temps.
of storms.
Yeah, some weird cyclone.
Cyclone,
yes,
yes,
they're calling it.
Yeah, fuck, whatever.
Jesus.
More drama.
Global warming.
We're all dying.
Yeah. Batten down.
Yeah. So, well,
yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, good time,
And that was New Year's Day.
Yeah. The first of the year, New Year's Day, get out there.
There you go.
Yeah, last Sunday. So yeah, it was fun. And yeah, because like I'm a little jealous because I couldn't join you guys on the Mojave this time.
Oh man. Well, you know what's crazy about our trip, and we're gonna dive in, I guess.
Yeah, get into it.
Basically, we were all trying to figure out like Allie's birthday. That's how it started.
Yeah, it's January.
And because her birthday is, oh God, she's gonna kill me. I think it was January 10th. She said.
She said.
Yeah, well, because I had to ask her because I knew it was like early January, and then I had to ask her. Anyways, so we were trying to figure out where we were going to go for her birthday. And nobody could really align on a weekend, and so then Herb hit me up, and he was like, "Oh, what are you doing this weekend?" I was like, it's New Year's Eve. I don't know what we're doing. So then I thought about it. I was like, wait, we really don't have any plans. I wonder if everybody else can go on a trip to Mojave because we wanted to do a Mojave trip because we do it anyways.
Yeah.
Like every year. It's the third year in a row. And so that's how it all kind of started. We started talking about like, oh, why don't we just do Mojave? And then we threw in Adam, and then we threw in some other people. And, we even...
It's a long weekend.
Like
Why
the
not?
day before, we added another couple people.
Yeah, literally a day before, I get a call from Jason at Opt Off Road, and he was like, hey, do you mind if we invite Avis and Rob? And I was like, oh, I've never met him before. I said, I mean, I personally
you're
don't
gonna
have a
vet him,
problem with
fuck
it,
it,
but
yeah.
like we already had a big crew,
It ended up being what, like 8 cars, something like that.
8 vehicles.
Okay. That's about my limit.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Any more than that would be, yeah.
And it's not because we don't want too many people.
No,
it's
it
more
just gets
about finding
logistics.
campsite.
Yeah.
Yeah, logistics of finding a spot to camp.
Yeah.
It's like we almost ran into a problem on Saturday, like the night of New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
It was almost a problem.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we could have went to, well, we'll talk about that in a second, but basically there was a campground that was an option, but you had to pay. It was the Iron Ranger.
Oh.
It was like $12 a night. It wasn't anything crazy. And they actually had some killer views and I want to go back.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. That is an Iron Ranger that I would not mind camping at because
Yeah.
at the time there was some good views.
Yeah. And that was actually one of the vehicles we saw on the road was actually there.
Yeah.
He was camping in the whole campground by himself, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
He was in like a white Tacoma or something.
Yeah, there was like 1 or 2 in there, but I don't know where they came from because I didn't watch them come in, and I don't think they were there when we first got there. So
No.
they might have rolled in real late.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean that's why you don't want to have too many. And so Jason hit me up and I was like, yeah, I mean I personally have no problem, but let me check with the other 2 people who kind of like helped me organize this run, which was Allie and Herb. And I was like, do you guys have a problem? They're like, she's like, oh no, I like Avis. I know her. I was like, oh, you know her already? Is she cool? Yeah, she's cool. She's great. So I was like, cool. And then I hit up Herb and he goes, he's like, I'm just going to take a dab and I don't give a shit what happens.
That's such a Herb thing to say.
for sure,
He's
dude,
like,
for
I'm going to be blazed up, dude. I don't
He's
give
like, I'm gonna have a good time no matter what.
Yeah, that's literally what he had said.
He's got such a good attitude.
Oh, he's
just with
so much
everything.
fun to camp with.
Oh, he's so chill.
Yeah.
I love it.
So I called back Jason. I was like, yeah, we went through some extreme vetting processes. and they're good to go.
You
They
passed
barely made the cut.
barely.
Yeah, I said they made the cut. Yeah, but it really wasn't about the people or anything else. It's just the logistics, man.
Yeah.
Because
It can be hard.
the good thing about Mojave though is that it's so wide open. Like you
Yeah.
could literally figure it out.
Just pull off anywhere if you had to.
Yeah, but you don't want to do that when you're in Mojave. Like you have like your normal spots you can go to that are, nice, open, they're flat for like the rooftop tents and the tents and everything else. So, because we were ground tenting in the shift pods.
Oh, yeah.
And some people had rooftop tents and some people slept in their vehicle, such as Adam.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, that's how it all kind of came together last minute. And we're like, hey, I guess we're doing Mojave. And
Well,
so
yeah.
here's the plan. Meet
Yeah.
up at Balancing Rock like usual, and then we'll go from there.
I got real lucky. I mean, I'd just come back from a trip. I think either the week before or a week and a half before from Aruba. My wife and I just took a big trip.
Ooh.
She was still in a good mood. That's what it was.
To be honest,
Oh, yeah,
I kind of
right,
like
right.
banked some brownie points, like going to Aruba and like being in a good mood the whole
Yeah,
time. Like,
yeah.
oh, this is great. I love this. I didn't just spend $5,000, but this is great. And I was like, hey, so like, do we have plans for New Year's? And she was like, no, not really. And then she had to work one of the days, and I was like, well, I'm heading out after I go to work, like as long as you're okay with it. And she was like, yeah, that's fine. So she let me go, and like no problem.
Got the green light?
Got the green light. That was great. And it ended up, like I said, it was about 8 cars. So there was Herb and his GX, Allie and her 4Runner, Mike and his flatbed Tundra.
He got
Avis
some killer footage, by the
Oh,
way.
he did get some good footage too.
I didn't realize that he's like an influencer at heart, and he didn't even know it.
Yeah,
Mike
he
was?
no
Dude,
he
Mike is, yeah.
Oh.
he will like scurry off to places and get good video and photos, but like not like nobody will know that he's doing it.
Oh, really?
Okay,
Dude, he's
Stealthing it.
he's quick
Shit.
and he's quiet.
Dude, he's ninja. So it was kind of funny. On right after we crossed the lake bed, Herb and I were talking, and he comes up to me. We just found camp and everything, and there was going to be a sunset and everything. Herb comes up to me. He goes, "Hey Ben, what's the over under on Mike climbing that hill right there?"
And I want to say I think Herb's timing was wrong, but he had the right idea. They were like, 5 or 10 minutes. I think it
Yeah.
was like 15.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
but-
yeah.
Herb was on the money because he was like, Herb is
Called
very observant. And so he was, and I recognize it too. Like
Yeah.
Mike would go off and like all of a sudden we'd see him in random places because we went to like the first,
Hey, that's good. You
The
need
first-
that guy in your
Like Fort Paiute, right?
yeah, Fort Paiute. All
Oh,
of a
yeah,
sudden he's
yeah.
like across the river with his dog and he's like up in some cavern. We're like, what the hell did Mike
Well,
go?
and he did the same thing on New Year's Eve night, like where we camped. He was on top of this monstrous boulder.
Oh yeah.
Like I had said, like,
Like
oh
it-
yeah, you can get to the top. I didn't think that anybody in our group was
Actually
actually
do
going
it.
to get there
It's like
that
a
night.
4-story building height.
Oh yeah, it was easily 40 feet in the air.
Oh, wow.
It was
And
crazy.
he was high enough to the point where the fog started phasing him out.
Yeah. It was kind of funny. But Herb goes, what's the over under on him doing that? I was like, I don't know. And then we started talking about it because he took a dab and he's like, dude, we should start a website, Overland Bets. Like like sports
That's
betting. but
trademarked,
for
by the way.
Overland,
Nobody take that. That is
Can't take it.
trademark.
Sorry.
Overlandbets.com.
Yeah.
So Herb was like, yeah, 15 minutes. Or I was like, yeah, he'll be up there within the next half hour and whatever. So,
And he got some.
And he
good videos
was.
during golden hour too. So like,
yeah, him and Allie just walked to the top, and then they just started like taking some killer footage, dude.
yeah, they
Well,
just do like nice pan shots.
You need that because otherwise nobody else is going to do it. You know,
I'm terrible at it.
That's what
I
I mean.
am so bad about it. Too. I
and
feel
I was
so
like-
bad when I post too because I'm like, oh, none of this is my footage.
I just repost.
exactly.
I was funny because I was telling Jess, I'm like, fucking Ben, like every fucking video or reel or story or post has
It's
been
all
from
my
somebody
footage.
else. Because Ben wasn't doing any, he was like reposting Allie's and Mike's and
I was
Herb's.
too
And
busy coordinating and leading the fucking
Yeah,
trail,
no, Ben,
dude.
Well, I
Ben
know,
did
that's what I'm
become
saying.
like the de facto leader, whether it was intended or not.
I know
That's
he's
just-
not
always
daddy,
happens.
but yeah. But I mean, it's just, you need the,
Trail daddy.
yeah.
I need I need
Trail
the
daddy.
I need to
Instagram
get you a shirt, Trail Daddy, with like slap a bumper sticker on there.
Yeah.
Hashtag Trail Daddy.
Hashtag trail daddy.
Yeah,
That's
baby.
right. I like
But
that.
You need that, the photographer guy to kind of, document it. It's always nice, like,
Well, Mike wasn't even on Instagram until Allie forced him to do it.
that's why he's doing it.
Well,
Allie's like
and half
grooming him.
the people that follow his page don't even know that his name is Mike.
I know.
I don't think his name is anywhere on the
Flatbed
account.
Tundra.
It's just Flatbed. It's just
Flatbed
Flatbed Tundra.
I mean,
Well,
to
nobody
be fair,
knows. To be fair,
all the people I know, like Rafa, before I actually knew his name, he was just Taco Trooper.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
most people I don't know by their real names. I just know them by their handle, their Instagram handles, because that's like usually how you get to know them until you actually meet them in person. you
Yeah.
know? But then still, it's just
People don't ask for their phone numbers anymore. They say, "Hey, what's your Instagram?"
Hey, what's your Instagram?
yeah.
I want to see your
I'll
business.
just DM you.
What's your gram?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's, anyways, Mike is actually doing really good. And then he went out after we got back from the Javi Trail.
Yeah, he's in like Superstitions or something like that.
Yeah,
Oh, he's back
Superstitions.
out again.
Yeah, because he
Yeah,
picked
that
up
was-
his son, and him and his son went around, and it was kind of funny
Fine.
because
Fucking
even
time
his
off.
son is taking the footage of him doing burnouts in the sand and everything.
Oh,
I was
rad.
like, dang, dude.
Well, at one
Smart.
point, Mike even jumped out. He's like, "Oh, okay, guys, I'm gonna jump out on this corner. So like, stay high. It's a great corner for like throwing a roost."
Oh, I
And
saw
I'm,
that one.
And
where
I'm
you guys
like,
are all
this
flipping around
guy's
him.
like the quietest guy on the mic, and all of a sudden he's like, "I got video of all of you people." I'm like, "What the hell's going on?"
yeah.
I didn't hear any of that, and I don't even know what
I think
corner he
you
was
were
talking about.
one of the first ones through the canyon.
Oh,
And he was
yeah,
up
farther
toward, he
down.
was back towards the back, so he was probably like the fifth from the back or something like that.
Yeah, I was leading the pack the whole way. So until I took a few wrong turns and I radioed to people, and then they took the
Don't
turn that
follow
was
me.
Right.
Stupid
Yeah.
Gaia.
I know, well, because it took a minute for Gaia to update for some reason.
Really?
Like, all of a sudden, I'm following the little thing and it's moving along, and all of a sudden, like you follow the pink line and the pink line goes left, but you're still going straight.
Like, wait a minute.
I didn't know I was supposed to turn there.
Yeah.
because it updates, it lags.
Oh,
Well, at least it did on mine. But anyways, so I mean, we've talked about the Mojave Trail many times, but what was different about this time was obviously I went with a new crew.
Yeah.
The only holdover from last time was literally Allie and I.
Yeah. Everybody
Yeah.
else was
Yeah, it was
almost
a new
everybody.
addition.
Everybody except for the opt-off road crew. So that's I mean, Jason and Kristen and their two kids were, Mojave Trail virgins.
Yeah,
okay.
well, they-
Actually, I guess
they've done it?
Mike's been before, but
Oh, he has?
yeah, he did it with Allie. I guess sometime the way that he made it seems like him and Allie had been out there before, but whether that was what it doesn't really matter. But
Yeah. I don't think they did Mojave together. Cause,
maybe I might have misheard it.
Yeah.
but,
He may have been out there before.
yeah, maybe he had been out there and they had talked about it, but whatever.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you guys had pretty diverse, like as far as vehicle wise, diverse
Yeah,
group of
so-
Yeah,
rigs.
tell-
like I was
tell
saying,
about that.
Herb had Herb has his beautiful GX 460 Taj Mahal
Dialed.
Chateau GX is what I'm gonna
Yeah.
start calling him. He had a rice cooker this time.
Oh, he brought the rice.
He had a rice
he
cooker.
He bought a rice cooker because he was going to buy an air fryer.
yeah.
And then he was like,
Oh
it's
my
pulling
God.
too much wattage.
You need to upgrade his. You need to talk to Tony.
No,
Get
it
your
was
power
like,
solution.
no,
Get
it
some
was
more
like
power in there.
1,300 amps or some
Yeah,
crazy
it's like
shit, or
it was like
watts.
1,300 watts, and he's got like a 1,200 watt max on his inverter.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so he's Chateau GX as far as I'm concerned now. Allie was in her Forerunner, of course. Mike was in his flatbed Tundra. Rob and Avis were in I'm not gonna lie, it was a badass rig.
That thing's
It
sick.
was a Ram 3500 single cab long bed truck. They took the cab the
Not long
bed
bed.
off.
Short. It wasn't in a short bed?
It was a long
Single
bed.
cab.
Single cab long bed.
Yeah.
So single cab long bed. It had a flatbed on it, and on top of the flatbed was a 4-wheel campers. I don't know the exact model, but it had like the pop up top.
It
It was
the
not.
4-wheel
It
car, yeah.
wasn't a slip-in model. It was
No,
like
no.
supposed to be on a flatbed
Yeah.
with how wide it was.
specifically for a flatbed. Yeah. At the side entry.
On 37s, rear locker. It was like a 5th gen Ram. So if you know what that means, like a 2020 Ram.
Yeah,
It was
newer,
a beautiful
yeah.
truck.
It was a diesel, baby.
Big old diesel truck. And to be honest, it did better. than I thought it would in like the soft sand, fast. You know,
Yeah, he was floating. He was moving.
it was
He aired down quite a bit.
Yeah, I think
his
he
normal's
said
like 80
Yeah, he
PSI.
runs 80 psi in the back because he rolls down the highway at 12,000 pounds.
Yeah, that's fucking heavy.
11,700 or 11,800.
Yeah, moving that much weight like through the dirt and like controlling that much unsprung weight, so like the axles and the tires. That's it was a nice rig. He's got like a full Carly suspension, some Thurin parts in there. If you're a Dodge guy, you know what that means. And then, like I said, the 4-wheel camper, and we used his Starlink to.
Oh, he had Starlink out
yeah,
there?
he had
Nice.
Starlink. I'm not gonna lie, it was very impressive.
I was gonna say how was that?
I've used satellite internet, absolute garbage. Starlink,
On point?
100% recommend it.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah,
He was like, the connection's okay, and it was like 70 megs down, and I
That's
was like,
better than my house.
that's better than my condo.
Yeah, right.
But and then
Spectrum Internet. Bye.
other than him, obviously Ben had a ZR2. I had my Sequoia.
Jason had a Sequoia.
Jason had their Sequoia out there, and then they also
Bronco.
had their Bronco out there on 37.
Oh, they brought both. Okay.
It's Fat Betty.
Yeah,
Betty.
Fat Betty.
That's what they named it. Well, Avis named
Betty.
it Fat Betty because it's a wide girl
It is as wide as that Ram is.
Really?
Oh, every bit.
with a tire.
I think he said, he's got like negative 44 offset on
I
some
was gonna say.
massive method beadlocks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
they're 37s.
yeah, he's gonna take those off. He was saying, and then drop it down to 35s and
They have to.
make it more.
Oh, really?
But I think even after the Rebel rally that they're gonna do, I think
Oh,
he's
that's-
gonna-
oh,
I think
they're
he's
They
gonna-
got a flat tire today. They
Oh,
came
yeah,
out to
yeah.
their rig and I saw a video and then like their tire was like meow.
yeah,
That's yeah. So
But it
that's
was-
right. The Rebellion, you can't run over 35s, huh?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
It has to be
overall-
almost like stock. It was like stock vehicle tire size or something. It's
Yeah.
some
Whatever's
rule.
offered by the
It's rules,
Yeah.
But it was, like you said, it was a very diverse group of vehicles.
It got a little interesting, especially with the Ram, because over the years, Mojave has that, the mountain bypass at the very
Yep.
beginning, right after, what was it, Fort Paiute?
Yeah, after
or whatever.
Fort Paiute, yeah.
And you take that around, and there's one section that's off camber that like angles towards the cliff.
Yep.
And it's pretty steep. And if you're wide, you run out of road.
And there's always a washout right there. That's where
And
the
it's
road
washed
always
out.
washes out.
Yeah. And so there was some like railroad ties, I want to say, some like
Yeah,
wood
railroad ties looking.
They try to
that
build
they
it up.
tried to like build it up, but it like
Yeah.
that's a 12,000 pound Ram with dynamic weight going across that. Like we were a little bit sketched out. He was really sketched out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was.
white knuckling it a bit.
I could tell in him if we weren't
Very hesitant.
if Jason, so because he knows Jason outside of all of us, right? And he had like basically just met Ben and I the day before. Or the night
Yeah, and I'm
before,
like,
rather.
yes,
We're like, yo, you got this. Like the Sequoia's really leaning. He's like, you fool, I'm in a giant Ram. But I to be honest, I think he was at the point of saying like, no, I'm good. We're gonna go back down.
I think
He was real. I saw him standing there, arms crossed, looking at it like gears turning in his head. And I was like, no, now's the time he needs the motivation. And then Jason was like, no, you got this. It's fine.
Yeah,
and then he basically just said,
Jason
worst
settled
case,
him.
punch it and yank it left, basically.
Yeah,
To be honest, when he went through it,
Pedal through it. Yeah.
when he went through it, he crawled through it pretty slow, and it was very stable.
Yeah, here's
Yeah,
the thing.
I saw
Here's
the
the thing
video of
about
you
his
guys doing
rig.
it.
Yeah.
His rig, and I think it also has to do with him and his comfortability with his rig and pushing the limits. But obviously, you want to be safe. No one wants to die.
Yeah.
We didn't want to
Don't
have to
push your shit.
recover
Yeah.
a
If
12,000
you're not
pound
comfortable,
vehicle.
don't
Like,
do it. Yeah.
We're almost like, okay, just hop in and we're leaving it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think only one person had a winch, and it was him. I think if anybody, it would have been him winching himself out.
Yeah.
You beat an anchor.
Yeah, but all his electronics got fucked anyways. But, no, but the thing is that my whole point is this: it's the drivers, how comfortable they are
Yeah.
in it, and he's driving it, and he's like, man, it feels tippy. Adam and I are looking at it, we're like, that doesn't look tippy at
It
all.
always feels worse when you're in it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Your perception is totally fucked when you're inside.
Well, the wild part too is he was on the low side.
Yeah.
because obviously
Yeah,
it dips towards the driver and
He
it
was
raises
dipping,
real
yeah.
high on the passenger. And usually the high side is the side that feels really uncomfortable.
yeah.
Yeah, but when you're staring
And
down,
he's already
Oh,
top
yeah.
heavy. That thing's top heavy.
and it's very top heavy. So I mean, I don't blame him.
Oh,
for
no,
being
not at all.
like-
Not at all.
Like if I was him, I would have shit a brick.
I would have been like, everybody out of my way, don't talk to me. Yeah. Mash it.
That's almost like basically what we told him. We're like, dude, just take it high, cut over here,
Hug as tight as you
'Cause
can to that passenger.
The higher you keep going away from the canyon, the more you're gonna tip, and then that's gonna
Yeah.
force you to tip.
Yeah.
Because at a certain point, you have to basically just commit and turn into it.
Yeah.
And basically, he reached to that point, and he's like, "Just get out of the way. I'm going to goose it real quick." And he goosed it. And like I
He
said,
did.
he was
Took his time.
very stable.
Yeah.
Very stable. So we made it through
plenty.
that. And
And we made it up to the top, but it's been rutted out big time, especially near the top. Like there were some vehicles coming down that they had to stop for us to come up.
I'm not gonna lie. I would personally say that the rutted outness above that washout was worse than the actual washout.
Agreed, but
Depending on
visually,
wheelbase, of course.
Visually, with the canyon and you staring down, like that's,
staring down the barrel of loaded gun kind of thing.
Psychologically, it was worse there. But from a tippy point and from a rutted out point, it was way worse up top.
Yeah.
So, but we made it and we mobbed. Once we got to the top, we just started mobbing because everybody was like, phew.
Yeah.
You know?
Let's get some miles away from that scary shit.
Yeah. And that was probably the scariest part. And that's always the scariest part is just doing that little pass there because everything else is pretty easy.
Yeah.
I mean, you have the water crossings at the end, but the railroad company that, filled it in, or it was the railroad company that filled
with
it
rocks.
in. That was the smelly, stinky, stagnant water area. But the other water crossing was much less than it was last year, even. So, I mean, I know I'm jumping ahead, but like the obstacles for Mojave Road isn't that bad.
No. Your biggest obstacle is just distance.
It is.
Fuel.
Distance and like, to be honest, when I had heard you guys talk about it, I was like, it can't be that washboard. No, it's pretty bad.
Oh yeah, the washboard.
The chop,
be annoying.
the chop is bad. Washboard's bad. It's
the
like
big whoop section where you
There's
like
a lot of the
6 miles of
side-by-sides.
whoops, but you're going like 5 miles an hour through these things. They're fucking monsters, and
they're big old 3-4 foot rollers that are uneven. So like you do 3 and then you speed up and you're like, oh shit, there's 6
I'm
more.
all fucked up. Yeah.
We were cruising about 12 miles an hour through there.
Yeah.
So
We averaged an all right speed. I think it's because most of us, like nobody had a really short wheelbase car, but like that would have been bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, even Allie was like, "Oh my god, are we done with it?" It's like a roller coaster. She's like getting like sick.
Yeah.
We had last time I did it, we had a group and we had kids, and a vehicle behind us or in our group had to stop and like, we'll catch up to you guys because the kids all got seasick.
Yeah.
They're like,
It'll do that to you.
I give them Dramamine and stuff. Like, we can't. We'll just catch up.
I think I
know where
even
the
made a
camp
comment.
spot
I
is.
was like, yeah, it's like lulling me to sleep. I'm gonna fall asleep.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly how it is. It's like, and you're going up and down, up and down.
And
You're like
for 6 miles.
bouncing off of 10 and 15 miles an hour, just up and down, up and down.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a really pretty.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's like my
Especially
favorite area.
right before you even get to that is like, I've been all over the United States, mostly driving. I've never looked at it from that perspective where you're like 1,000 feet up from just this utterly massive expanse of land that is like untouched mostly.
Yeah, just goes on.
And there's
forever.
just like one trail here, and then there's an asphalt highway right in the middle.
Yeah.
And it was insane to like just look out and see, I don't know, 12, 15 miles. And it's just, you can see this road that we're going to take
Little
that just
snaky
winds.
road.
Yeah, it just snakes on through.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Well, that's why I stopped there because
Yeah.
it's a great photo op where you can line up all the
perspective, yeah.
rigs.
Oh, I get
and
it.
you can kind of see it and everything. So we were all taking videos and stuff. But that's like my favorite area. That was when we were coming down from that one big boulder campsite on New Year's Eve. It was New Year's Day. We made our way down that way.
Yeah.
But we were hitting 60 miles an hour on that dirt road. We were
Nice.
just mobbing.
Flying.
Dude. I think I got too far ahead a few times. I was actually having fun. I was goosing
So
it, man.
you got to let the ZR2 breathe every once in a while.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, it's nice too because like all the weather, the wet sand, like you don't have
No
all that
dust.
dust to deal with.
Actually, yeah, that
Rad,
was
dude.
great. I mean, like that's another thing to think about. Like when you've got 8 vehicles on the Mojave Trail, if it's dry,
Yeah, you gotta be spread.
you're literally
out.
going to be spread probably almost 10 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the time you
Total.
like when you're on a fast section, of
Front to
course,
rear,
right?
yeah.
Like if everybody's able to do 60, well, there's going to have to be like
Big
a
old
quarter
gaps.
mile between everybody because you can't see.
Yeah.
So luckily we had just enough wind to where there was a little bit of dust. It wasn't like blinding.
It was breezy.
And then it was just comfortable breezy one most of the time for the trail time.
Nice.
And then yeah.
But yeah, not a lot of dust. And I mean, we made good time because we actually were ahead of schedule the last night. And that's why we decided to make the trek across the lake bed.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
that was actually interesting.
That
'Cause
was
I think that was that was actually in my mind the sketchiest part.
I would say with it pretty
Not knowing
soupy
what was going
or
to happen.
I
Yes.
was going to say it was probably the most quote unquote, it could have had the most negative ramifications.
Yeah, no
But-
pun intended.
No pun intended.
okay,
But it was,
yeah,
but it
yeah.
ended up being okay. But it was fun in my eyes. Other people who were a little more slippy and slidey than I was were like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So I mean, it's not really an obstacle, but it became one only because of the rain that
Yeah.
came the night before.
Yeah, I mean you're on a lake bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
well, Salt Lake Bed,
Lake
which is
Bed,
also comes
we'll
into
talk
play a
about
little
that.
later.
But yeah, so it was about 2:30, 3 o'clock, and I was like, dude, we can make camp here, which is on the other side where they have like the green mill, whatever.
Yeah.
We've camped there before. The first time I went, that's where I camped. And it was nice. And then when I went back last year with Allie, we camped in the sand dunes behind it, which was really not that far. It's probably another like 5 minutes. Well, Allie was like, well, we kind of want to leave a little bit earlier the last day because, you know, some people have things to do.
Yeah,
whatever,
get back
right?
early. Yeah.
So we made the decision to cross the lake bed. And in hindsight, I would have been like, no, we shouldn't, because if somebody does get stuck, we have
That's
2
a
hours
long
before
fucking
dark.
night. Yeah.
Well, and it was 2 hours on a fresh day with no weird clouds, and we were fighting on and off rain that entire day.
Yeah.
It's like the visibility was like, it already basically looked like it was sundown.
Oh,
like,
wow.
Yeah.
like it was basically
Yeah,
the sun was
yeah.
already disappearing.
Yeah, it was looking that way because of the clouds.
Yeah,
And
all the cloud cover.
In hindsight, we probably shouldn't have done it for safety reasons, but we were safe. We made it across. But the thing to think about is when you're on comms with that many people, I actually had a moment where I was nervous because people were sending traffic.
Oh.
And they were like talking about like
Clogging up
I'm
the channel.
I'm
Yeah.
slipping and sliding, blah, blah, blah. And I'm trying to call out obstacles because I'm lead car. And when you're crossing that dry lake bed, there's like some ninja drops and bumps, and you can actually mess up your rig out there on that. And with a 12,000 pound ram going across some soupy salt mud,
he ain't stopping.
He
if
ain't
got to.
stopping. He's a freight train. Just keep going. That's what I told everybody. I was like, listen, spread out, keep distance, and keep pace.
Yeah.
Because we were going to keep a pace so we don't get stuck. Well, I started getting a little bit nervous because then the sun broke through the clouds. There's the water shine from the puddles all along the area. You can't see anything because it's coming in, and all of a sudden you're hitting
that
these
glare.
puddles, and they're splashing there, and they cover your windshield. You're instantly blinded.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's next. So
Yeah.
I was like calling out on the radio, and people were sending traffic. I was like, hey guys, bump, bump, bump. And then all of a sudden, like they were talking about something else, like, oh, I'm slipping and sliding, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like all of a sudden I heard that somebody launched. Was it Allie? Somebody had launched, and they were like, "Oh, I didn't see that coming." And I was like, "Well, yeah, if you
It might have been.
traffic."
It might have been. It might have been Herb.
Oh, it was right. It was Herb. And so Herb was like, "Damn, I just hit a huge bump again," and blah blah. And I was like, "Well, you know, don't clog the line." And I actually had to. I kind of like.
Yeah.
I felt bad afterwards, but I was like, "Keep the line clear. Keep the line clear. I'm trying to call out obstacles. Keep it clear."
Trail daddy.
So yeah, I was being trail daddy. You know, I'm like, I'm not trying to be mean, but it's like literally
Safety first, you
it's
know?
a safety thing because
Yeah.
we're coming into the sun. There's puddles, there's drop offs, and we're in soft mud.
Yeah.
Well, and one thing to keep in mind too is like there were people running ATs that were both aggressive or not aggressive. There was people running like a hybrid, like I was, and then mud trains. Everybody that was on mud trains or RTs was hunky dory.
Flying through, yeah.
There was no like concerns of being slippy. People with all trains were
Sliding a little.
And I had
a little
the-
slippy and slidey. Like Allie, she's got the Toyo AT2s, which run her super aggressive AT tire. And she hit a spot where it just kicked her ass end out. And she went all of a sudden like 10 feet off of the center of the trail.
Oh shit.
And then just like
Cut back in.
drifted it like Lightning McQueen in Cars and then fucking pulled it right back on.
Yeah. She
Fun,
I heard
but-
about it. I didn't see it, but yeah, she was talking about it. She's like, "Yep, I couldn't do anything. I just let it happen because I couldn't do anything about
Yeah,
it."
she's like, I waited till it gripped and then I got back on the throttle.
Yep. So
Yeah,
I mean, the
right.
good thing is that Allie knows how to drive. So
Yeah.
it's always nice when you have a group of people that knows how to drive. They may not know how to use comms, but they know how to drive.
I was gonna say when you said it, I was like, oh, he's got a really good point. I probably should stop talking.
I
'Cause I was
shut
one of the
my
people
ass up.
clogging
Oh,
the
you were?
comms.
Oh, okay.
I 100% was.
this guy.
This guy, fucking asshole.
Well, but yeah, but I mean, but in reality, I mean, when you're going across something where you have to have like constant communication and you're the lead car, you're calling out obstacles, you're calling out safety hazards and everything else. So I mean, even in the washboard areas that we were in the washes themselves, like there's some crisscrossing of lanes, and we actually kind of went into a situation where we were, you know, people are coming across on the right hand
there's
side, trying to
traffic
get
out there still,
roller
yeah.
footage,
Yeah.
which
Oh,
is
gotcha,
really
gotcha.
cool looking
When it all works.
when it works.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I'm not looking in my side view mirrors because I'm assuming everybody's driving. And all of a sudden I see this Sequoia mobbing out of nowhere. and I'll let you tell it because I don't even know what happened. I was just lead car and I was driving and all of a sudden I see this
where
like,
you can split up and run alongside
Yeah, I mean,
each other.
so it's basically like Ocotillo.
I know what you're talking about.
Running
Yeah.
through big old washes, right? And standard desert practices.
Wide open.
And you hang out wherever you want to hang out.
Yeah.
So Ben was on a spot that like his wheelbase was fine on, but my shorter wheelbase was beating the crap out of me. So I jump over a track and then I look over a track again and Jason's in his Sequoia with his GoPro hanging out the window.
the roller footage.
So he's getting roller footage and I'm like, oh, I know what he wants me to do. So I just mat it.
Yeah.
And so like I take off a little bit and I didn't realize that Ben was kind of starting to slow down a little bit. And we were already doing like 50 miles an hour. Right?
we were mobbing.
We were already moving pretty good. So we were already moving pretty good. And then I see Jason, so I speed up. And by the time I look down at the speedo, I'm doing like 70, 75. And then I look over to the left and Ben and Mai's track just
They merged.
They merged into each
they
other.
started- yeah.
And it was to the point where like with the newer tires, like I don't have the power that I did before.
Yeah.
Like I could see Ben was like commit, and I was like, I
heavier.
can't. Like
I hit him on the radio. I was like, commit.
and I was like, this is not gonna this is not gonna happen. So the moment I looked over at Ben, I matted the brakes.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm 75 miles an hour, 6,000 pound car, like trying to slow down.
in sand.
In sand.
Yeah.
And we obviously ended up being okay, but lesson learned in that one. Maybe look a little further forward and keep an eye on that more. But
And honestly, we never were in a situation where it was going to be catastrophic.
no,
It
we
would've
could
been
have
like-
we could have both stopped. It would have been fine. But lesson learned for me being a little overzealous.
No, I mean, I just didn't know what was going on because when you're leading, you just assume everybody's in a straight line like marching ants. But I just saw it, and then I saw him, and I was like, commit or don't, like just do something because I'm doing the same thing I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because if we both mash on the brakes, then we're just gonna go and smash
Yeah,
into each other.
and that's kind of why like I matted the brakes and didn't change. I didn't change what I was doing. I was like full brake, and Ben
fully
saw me,
committed.
Ben
Yeah.
saw me slow down, so he sped up. So like we basically had that unspoken understanding of what each other were doing.
I saw his front end just die.
Yeah. Dump. Yeah.
I think I was probably like on the snubbers for a second there.
Yeah, so he dumped it. But I mean, the whole lesson learned is just comms, understanding, spatial awareness. Because on me too, to be fair, it's on me too because I should be looking in my side view mirrors, but I was leading, so I
A
wasn't.
little tunnel vision going on.
I was actually focused more on don't accidentally hit a ninja rock, which are rocks that just appear out of nowhere.
Or like a ninja whoop,
Or a ninja whoop, because it's all blending from color, and it was the middle of the day, so you don't really have shadows, and so it was just like I don't know. So yeah, but I mean overall everybody was safe, everybody was fine.
Yeah,
just lessons learned. We get across the dry lake bed, and our vehicles are just covered in
Not
mud.
so dry lake bed.
And I didn't see it, but somebody said people were throwing like 30-foot rooster.
Yeah,
I
so
bet.
the Bronco, like we talked about, is as wide as the Ram is, but they also took the fender flares off.
Yeah, say no
Fender
wheel
delete.
wells.
So
yeah.
basically, like they've got this massive, 37-12.5,
Yeah.
and it's
Mud terrain.
like the majority of the tire is outside the
open
body.
wheel, yeah.
I'm talking like 2/3 of the tires outside the
like
body.
a rat rod style.
Like yeah,
Some
it
Indy car
basically it looks like
status.
somebody took an X-ray and threw it on tons. Like it's ridiculous.
it looks great.
It looks great in like a that's kind of stupid way, but like I
Which
kind of
is
like
rad.
it at the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
time. Like it's
yeah.
kind of dope. But she literally wasn't goosing it at all, just keeping consistent throttle, throwing 25-foot rooster tails.
Well, that's what the muds are supposed to do. They're supposed to.
Yeah, they're clearing out, and
Yeah.
they're doing their job, and
their
they did
job.
it really well because
Yeah.
she even said she's like, no, I was glued to the road. I had no slippage, and the big Ram basically was the same case. Like he had, big super meaty mud terrains on there, and
He's got like the Nitto mud grappling.
yeah, he's got the Nitto tires that almost look like the monster claws, but like the entire tread. It's real funky tread pattern. He says they're great, and he even made a comment. He's like, "Man, these tires only last like 15,000 miles on this rig, and they're not cheap. But when I go through the mud, that's when I know I bought the right tire.
Every penny.
He's like, it was worth it.
How did the RTs do?
So mine, to be honest, I had no problems at all. I felt I felt I was almost as glued as the mud train guys were.
All right.
So it's like bent. I saw Allie kick out way far, and I was like, I have no problems.
She essentially hydroplaned
Yeah.
in a way, right?
Yes, I mean, so for people who don't know stuff about tires, right? Like the all trains are kind of supposed to be a jack of all trades, rough or an RT or a hybrid or whatever you want to call it, or a rough train, which is kind of like a newer school of thought, right? Few tires are made in that classification technically. So the Kendas that I'm running, they're kind of a hybrid between like the center section is going to be an all-terrain and the outer section is going to be like a more of a mud terrain style.
Yeah, more aggressive.
You get all the bonuses of both classes. And then you have full bore mud trains. So there was only 2 people running full bore mud trains, and that was the Bronco and the Ram. They definitely had the most grip in that situation. And what mud tires are supposed to do is grab the mud and then fling it. They don't want to hold on to it.
Yeah.
So when
get
you'll
rid of
see
it.
like when you'll see
pack in, yeah.
what you'll see with the mud train is they have big open chunks of their tire tread section. And when they're going through the mud, when it's on the ground, it's got mud in it, but the moment it leaves the ground, it throws it.
Yeah, opens up that tread.
Yeah,
again.
it opens up that tread patch.
You get that grip.
Versus an all-terrain, they actually are designed for more of like a snow water focus where they need to sipe the water out and actually in the snow, grip the snow and hold the snow in the tire because snow grips snow better than rubber and snow.
And they're even like soft sand, if you're like Lamets or something, they're better because you have more of a contact patch.
Exactly.
You want to float more than dig.
But with an all-terrain, like the tread patch is so much tighter, it doesn't release the mud.
Yeah.
So Allie's tires, exactly. Allie's tires essentially turn into slicks.
Slicks. Yeah.
That's what mine did too, 'cause I have all-terrains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When she parked, like she literally, it looked like she had F1 tires on her 4Runner. Like there was no tread definition at all.
Yeah.
It's like I understand why she got kicked all sideways.
Yeah, and I think her tires have more miles on them than mine.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so
so lower
she,
tread,
yeah.
yeah.
and her tread pattern is a Toyo. So
It's a very tight tread pattern. It's way less aggressive than what you've got going.
yeah, because I almost feel like her tread pattern is like it's an all-terrain.
You have the Falcons?
Yeah, it actually her tread pattern reminds me of the original Falcon all-terrains.
Yeah.
that everybody complained looked like a street tire, and that's what I had on my Land Rover, and I actually loved them, but
Yeah.
they looked kind of stupid. But but Falcon came out with their AT3Ws,
Yeah.
and those things are awesome. I've never had an issue, and even when we were crossing the muddy area, it slipped for maybe half of a second, but everything else, it gripped in the mud. I only slipped in a little bit of an area, not as bad as Allie.
Yeah.
But when I got to the end, same thing. It looked like I had F1 tires as well.
It's all packed in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like just a difference in understanding like
Yeah.
kind of what setup you want to run on your rig is. And if you're going to do a lot of road miles, an 18 makes more sense than an MT. But
Yeah.
maybe that hybrid is.
Yeah, for the few times you actually hit mud or something
Yeah.
like that.
Where, and then the flip side of that is again, like a mud tire tends to suck in the snow.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
kinda
And everybody
you kinda
thinks
have to-
it is a snow tire.
Yeah,
but it's
everybody
not.
thinks big aggressive tire means really good in the snow, and that's the exact opposite. Actually, you kind of want a tire that's got, less spread on the tread patch, kind of thing. So
Yeah. So we get through the dry lake bed, and then afterwards we realize, oh shit, we have to camp one more night, and everything's covered in mud.
and it's
terrible.
disgusting. All the door handles have
The ones that
salty
nothing.
mud in there.
I still have mud in my door handle because I have like the pole handle.
Oh, yeah.
And I still found some even after all that pressure washing and all that rain. I still have mud in the door handles.
You will for like the next year.
To be honest, I'm just
next
glad.
season.
I'm just glad that we're not the Bronco or the Ram because like they were throwing the meanest rooster tails and they got it all. They got it on the roof.
I know.
Could you imagine washing
Yeah.
Could you imagine washing a 4-wheel camper on top of a flatbed on top of a Ram 3500 on top of 37-inch tall
Tire
tire?
extension ladder out
It's
there.
like a 15-foot tall rig, and he's got to get mud off the roof.
Well, I'll tell you what, he should go where we went, but
Oh,
he's not
dude.
going that way. But we'll talk about that in a second.
That spot in Norco is the spot.
So yeah, it is the spot. I had no idea. But anyway, so we made it across, and the mud started to dry a little bit. But then that night, we actually got some rain again. I didn't realize it, and I woke up in the next morning, and all the mud is wet again. I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Not enough rain to wash it off, but
Yeah.
enough to keep it moist.
Yeah.
Moist.
But yeah, so that was the night that Mike and Allie went and climbed the little dirt mountain that Herb and I were making bets
Scenic,
on.
Yeah, watch the sunset and get some golden hour video.
I don't even think they knew that we were taking bets on if
Well, they had no idea. So
Oh, really?
I was gonna hear it and be like, those assholes.
Those motherfuckers. Yeah.
No, it wasn't. It was just funny because
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what's the over under on Mike climbing that hill?
Well, yeah, because like when we went to Fort Paiute, I had to tighten something on my Sequoia. I had like a rear link that was loosening up, so I was underneath my rig, and then all of a sudden I see that Mike is like 30 yards away in a cave, and nobody's near him. He's just by himself. Well, he's got his dog with him. It's just him and his dog.
Because everybody's like, "Where's Mike?" And all of a sudden he's like, "I'm over here."
And he got a video of a cave, and then like pans out and sees all our cars in the parking lot. And we're like, oh, okay.
It was kind of cool.
He's a secret little influencer. I love it.
no. Honestly, Mike is an influencer at heart.
Yeah.
He just found his calling.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
So, anyways, he's a really cool guy. I'm glad he came. That's my second time camping with him. He actually went on our Arizona adventure to Sedona and then up there.
Oh yeah,
That's right.
And I felt bad because it was one of those things where it was more driving than wheeling. And I think this time it was quite the opposite. I was almost
his
like,
fill.
Mike, give me a redo. We're going to do more wheeling than driving. Well, kind of the same thing, but not road miles.
yeah.
So it was a great time, and his Tundra always does great. So
I think it ended up being 159 dirt miles or something like that. I think.
Yeah, so he can't complain.
Yeah.
Not that he would, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
No one can.
True.
So yeah, no, I mean, other than that, I mean, was there anything more eventful? I mean, after the mud situation?
When we were down by the railroad tracks, I had an electrical problem.
This is the next day.
Yeah, next day. Yeah, other than the river or the riverbed crossing lakebed crossing, it wasn't eventful that day. But the following day, we get out, have some fun. We go see the miners' cabin with some soft sand kind of
Which
thing.
I've never seen before.
Yeah, that was
okay.
That was I really, to be honest, that was probably one of my most enjoyable parts of the trip.
It was really cool too, because to get back to there, they have like these sick like motocross berms.
Yeah, you're talking like minimum like a 10-foot tall berm that you can ride up on the top.
Oh.
Get your car sideways.
All in super soft sand. And
yeah.
it was kind of tacky because it was a little wet, which was nice.
Perfect. Yeah.
Because that means,
It's a little bit rutted though.
it was
I
a
wish it wasn't
little
so
rutted for sure. Especially when you're like the fifth rig going through it and we had a group of 8.
Yeah.
Like if you were at the back, I was the last one up and I was like, Jesus.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
So I made sure to be the first one out.
Yeah, I was the second one in third one in. It was Jason, Allie, and me. But it got super deep ruts, and you want to get up on the side, but you're stuck in the rut. So it's like,
But it was good. I think Jason got some pretty good GoPro footage. I'm still waiting to see some of that because he had a really good video of us basically all exiting, but that little miner's cabin was cool, you know.
He gave. Okay, so yeah, the miner's cabin. I'll save this for after because it's in chronological order. So go ahead, miner's cabin.
So like, was it Spaghetti Moon and Lasagna Sunrise? We were like,
I didn't even know what you were talking about.
So basically, you go to the miner's cabin and like people have left like either souvenirs or like memories of like why they went there, and so like somebody had like there was a couple dollars that were like on there with like writing on it, like when like a previous group had gone in and they basically took a nail out and just put the nail back in with the like dollar bill or whatever. And I was like, oh, everybody's putting $1 bills. I got a $2 bill. And we didn't know what to
$2 bill.
And I ended up finding one, so I was kind of bummed. But we were trying to figure out like what to write because we didn't know. And like there was kind of a joke like hashtag triple locked.
Yeah.
with some fireside, was some campfire side conversation. But we were trying to figure out like what to say. And then Rob was just like, Spaghetti Moon, and I was like Lasagna Sunrise. And we were just trying to figure out what to write. We didn't end up doing anything. It was just like us being stupid.
I didn't understand what they were talking about. I thought that was written somewhere. So stupid me.
Go to look
I'm in the cabin looking all around for some lasagna sunrise or whatever. I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about? I couldn't find it anywhere. So, and also, by the way, for our listeners, if you go on the Mojave Trail, and hopefully you do it soon, in the miner's cabin, I left our new sticker in there.
Okay.
And it's a freshie, and it's got the QR codes for our Instagram as well as our podcast. But I left our new sticker in the log book that you write in.
Oh, gotcha.
So I left that as like kind of like the bookmark. So if you find it, you can take it, and you got a new sticker.
Do you guys leave anything in the mailbox?
So the mailbox, I was actually going to say, I was in the same vein. Yeah. So we went back, and I couldn't remember where we put our orange sticker with the topographic.
Yeah,
like our more famous one. It was still on the post.
Is it still on there?
It was.
Oh,
and
rad.
Somebody kind of partially covered it up.
It gets covered, after a while.
And somebody partially covered it up with like a Monster Energy M.
Yeah, of all things, they
Of
used
all
the
things,
Monster.
I'm like,
Monster
fucking
Energy?
really?
Lame.
So then I took our new sticker and put it right above it,
Oh, cool.
and it kind of covers some of the M.
There you
So,
go.
yeah.
All
So
right.
the average
I got
overlanders-
2 on there. Nice.
I put my frog in there, so I had.
Oh,
I
tell me
had,
about your frog.
So Ben was like, I've never been to the Mojave Trail, so they're like, oh, don't forget your pennies, don't forget your frog, don't forget this, don't forget that.
the penny can doesn't exist anymore, by
What?
the
The
way.
penny can's gone?
It's gone off the Joshua tree. They have like some shrine for some guy that died that people are like laying pennies on, but it's not the same.
Wait, so like the little turnout here and where the penny is and you drive by, that's gone?
Yeah,
gone.
it's gone.
No penny can.
Did they move it to like the museum?
They
Possibly.
must have.
I hope so.
Probably like a whole couple $100 in
dude.
there with pennies.
Dude, last time I went, that thing was like overflowing with pennies.
Wild.
I have an issue with the museum.
Okay.
Only because it's like, leave it the fuck out there.
Well, no.
I get
the
both
reason-
sides of it.
The reason why
why?
the museum is there, they were gonna like all like the frog monument.
They were gonna
and
throw it away.
They were gonna throw it all away. They saved it and said,
Who was
okay,
gonna throw it away?
the
BLM.
BLM Park
land
Services.
management.
They wanted to clean
It's
up the
not like
desert.
Joe from.
It's not an actual monument. Like it's just trash to them. Like, oh, they're junking up the area. We need to clean all this shit up. So they're going to throw it away. And they're like, no. We'll take it. We'll move it to the museum.
I think part of it is like a
okay.
lost in translation thing.
Yeah,
Let me retract my statement.
Yeah.
My issue is people wanting to get rid of it because it is kind of like that draw. It is
Well,
kind of
that's
like the
what's
fun.
of it. Yeah.
Well,
it's
and
not hurting anything.
Give it some thought too. Like the people that would support like the gnome or the frog or the duck monument or the penny can, those are all the people that are the ones that are supporting like Corva.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The same people who want to go out there and be a part of something bigger than just their group are the same people that are donating money to Corva, reposting all the Corva posts to try to keep everything open, supporting the land management teams, but the land management teams are just looking at it differently than the people.
They do. Yeah.
the
Part
thing
of it.
is,
and I
the
think
frog
that's the real
monument-
lost in translation part.
Yeah, and the frog monument was never dirty. I never saw trash around there.
And that's one thing that I kind of wanted to touch on too. It's like when we went there to look at the frogs, like none of the frogs were doing like you can buy figurines that are doing things that like the public probably shouldn't see. You know what I mean? And none of the things there
it's
were
always
that.
very respectful.
It was all like, oh, that's a cute little frog monument, and that's kind of what I brought. Right? So back to my dope frog.
Yeah.
I was messaging Ben. I was like, is this too much? Like I don't know what to expect. And he's like, that is way too much money to spend on that. So I found one that was way cheaper, right?
Yeah.
But it was the dope little like bejeweled frog, like hand painted,
rad.
and it was actually like a jewelry case.
Yeah, I was gonna say. You know what it
Wow.
reminds me of? Imagine this: a dope ass
Imagine if you
jewelry case that your grandmother gave you.
Yeah, like your grandma went to Spain and found
Yeah.
like a souvenir to bring you back.
Yeah, that was like
Perfect.
really nice.
So we put it at the head of like the frog army, and now he's the leader.
King of the frog.
I think Ben got a really good picture where like it really exposes the frog really good, and I'll have to post it one of these days.
Did you put your name on it?
I didn't.
Oh yeah. See, like that's why I want to go back. 'Cause, like, we wrote our name. You write your name and the date on the bottom of your frog, and you kind of put it out there. So if you go back, you can be like, oh, I mean, if somebody has the same frog, you can be like, oh yeah, we were back out here, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's why I like about the mailbox too. Is you put your sticker up there. It was really cool to see our sticker from last year.
Yeah.
Because so much. I mean, it's almost like a memory trigger. So it's like I remember what I was going through on the last trip, and my life is a complete 180 now. You know what I mean? So it's kind of interesting. It's almost like a memory trigger. So
Yeah, it's like
that's what I
looking
about
at a
it.
picture because like you're seeing it again for the first time in a long time.
It's like Facebook memories.
Snapchat. It's 3 years ago. You were here. Yeah.
Yeah, I just got one. This was 4 years ago. It was my wife laying on Sam.
Oh.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah. I mean, so I retract my previous statement. My issue with the museum. My issue is with people wanting to take away something that actually means something to others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the museum's preserving that, so I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But I don't like the fact that it doesn't exist anymore, like the penny can.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
You know, and they used to have the Mojave bus out there. That's gone.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
they moved
in
that
the
to
museum.
Goff's. It's in the museum from what I'd heard.
Because they were going to trash that also. They're like, oh, we got to clean up the desert. Let's scrap it. And they're like, no. Bring it over here. We'll take care of it.
I feel like it would have gone a different way too if they were like, hey, off-road community, we'll give you guys this much time to like make this like a presentable, happy place.
Yeah.
Like there would have been people out there.
We would be out there.
Instant,
Oh, yeah. People
like, okay, well,
volunteer,
what do you want the bus to do? Do you want the bus to have paint on it?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll paint it.
Yeah.
Do you want it to be like environmentally friendly paint? We'll paint it like with the special paint. Like they would have figured it out, right?
Yeah.
So like I feel like if they had given it up to the community to figure out like how to keep it clean and how to manage it without outside intervention, it would still be there.
But I can see people too, because in certain areas, even going out to Akatia and everything else, like there's couches and stuff. Like
Well, that's
you don't want it to
just
be
trash.
trash.
Yeah.
But like for monuments, like the frog monument, the penny can, the little things that you go look forward
If
to.
anything,
like
they
points
should
of
just like
interest.
fence it in or something and make it an actual national, like not a national monument, but an actual thing. You know, put a little plaque out there and say this is what this is, and keep it, regulate it in a sense, so people will come out there and clean it. And
Well, and another thing that I think about is those points are so far from asphalt that like the shitty people who leave trash, like genuine trash,
Don't go out that
don't
far.
go that far.
Yeah.
No,
They're gonna go
over
100
6
yards?
miles of the whoops we
Yeah.
just talked about that make you seasick just to drop off a couch.
Well, and how far was the penny? The penny can's what, 20 miles from paved road?
Yeah.
Easy, 20 miles easy, and it's like through Joshua trees and razor chop and washboard.
Yeah.
And it's after that fucking like cliff drop off.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like
exactly.
after
So,
that.
yeah, you're not going to have the guy in like the crappy Toyota pickup truck from the 80s drop his couch off at that.
Yeah.
So that kind of tells you that like the people who started doing that had a different intention in mind.
Yeah, and even like after they moved the Frog Monument, to Goff and all that kind of stuff, and people came back, and
I want to say there was probably 60 frogs
that's
there.
what I mean. It's
Oh yeah,
still
but
going to happen.
You know what's different though? The last year when I was out there, they had the Rubber Ducky Museum right next to the Frog Shrine,
Oh, there's a bunch. When I went
but
there,
that's all gone.
There was supposed to be a gnome shrine too.
yeah, that's what, when I went there, there was a Matchbox car one. There was the frogs. There was the gnomes. There was a bunch of them out there.
I would say it was 95% frog, and there was a couple Matchbox cars, and then a couple ducks.
Oh wow.
But they were all in one area. Last
Yeah, it was
time,
all
the
in
duck
one underneath
was
one bush.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because like you have to kind of walk down that trail, and you get to one, you go a little farther, you find the next one. Yeah. Oh, it's a
It was
bummer.
off to the side, yeah, but like now it's just the one Frog Shrine, and that's only because everybody knows it as the Frog Shrine.
Well, yeah, that's what it is.
So-
And everybody started like building off of that, making other shrines and stuff.
Yeah, they're like, oh, I'm really into matchboxes. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
But anyways, so yeah, I mean, other than that, you had some issues with your 4-wheel drive on the last day.
Yeah, so last day, obviously, after we finished having all the fun in the soft sand, we start doing some of the water crossings towards the end, at least just going through like the canyon next to the railroad tracks, right, where there's a little bit of water flowing. And I didn't have any problems there. I had it towards the end, towards the last 2 water crossings. I went to put it in the second to last water crossing in 4-wheel high, just because I run most of the time in 2-wheel drive, just because it's less stress on the drive line. Yeah, whatever. And the transfer case gets stuck in neutral.
Ooh.
So every once in a while,
nowhere.
every once in a while, my Toyota, because like the old Sequoias or like the actuators, like the weak link of the 4-wheel drive like actuation system. And I know how to fix it because I've read about it if it happens, and I was ready to, but I had never like had it take that long to shift. And I didn't know if it was because we were on a grader a little bit. So I popped it into neutral, started to roll back, put it in reverse, like trying to do all the typical electronic, transfer case goodies and mojos and tricks. And transfer case gets stuck in neutral.
Oof.
So I'm like, okay, I know how to fix it. It involves a vice grip wrench that I don't have, but I can probably make it happen.
Yeah. Big deal with what you got.
So Jason gets out and he jumps in my truck and I start tapping on it with a hammer, and then I spin, or with like set of channel locks just because I had him in my hand. And then I spin the front drive shaft and I feel the front drive shaft lock in. So I know it's not the ADD. So the actuator up in the front diff. I know it's not that. I feel the front drive shaft lock in. And then he starts rocking it back and forth to try to make sure everything's okay. I have somebody pushing on it, and it eventually locked in, but I'm guessing something just got a little wet and I need to pull it apart and clean it out because it's probably got 20 years of shit in there. And I've never taken it apart. I've never serviced it. It's not usually like a quote unquote serviceable item.
Yeah, it's not something
But it's electronics that over time will corrode. So what some guys do is they basically just take them out, pull them apart, make sure none of the parts go flying, because sometimes there's like a spring in there. But basically they just brush it up and then lube some of the contacts with some dielectric grease and slap it all back together. And that keeps the electrics, working properly. So I'll probably end up doing that in my upcoming upgrades, because one thing that Mojave did basically highlight is that I need to basically do a front end rebuild on my Sequoia. I haven't had it that long, but rubber quality has been pretty bad. And with the 35s, like I'm dealing with more weight up there, being jostled around. And
after 150 miles of washboard and everything else, man, like even my truck is hating life, and it's a new truck.
Yeah, so I need to basically replace the lower control arms, because those bushings are clunking around. They were talking to me for like the last 120 miles. They were talking to me with that 160 miles of dirt.
He was good for 20, 30 miles.
Yeah, I was good for 20 to 30 miles. Now I made it out just fine, right? But it's making some noises that need to get handled. So I'll be going actually through Opt-Off Road with that Jason and Kristen.
Nice.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, if you need any parts,
Toyotas.
like upgrades, I mean, our whole thing for the average overland is we always talked about, like, you upgrade when you break something.
Yeah.
So this is kind of the situation, and you're going to upgrade.
Yep, I'm going to do some upgrades, and they're great people. Like Jason knows a lot. He's been in the industry a while. He's been in like the desert life for a long time. He's mainly a Toyota guy, but I know he's got ability to source other parts. So
yeah, obviously.
If you're a Ford guy and maybe you need some Duro bumps, I know he's a Duro bump dealer. So like
he's got a ton of them too.
So he's got a ton of that kind of stuff. So I mean, it might not be listed on his website, but he might be able to source it for you. And they're great people. I would in a heartbeat go out and camp with them again because they're such good people.
Yeah. I have yet to camp with them. You've gone out a bunch of times,
know,
and like I was gonna try to go with you to Borrego, and I just haven't yet to cross. So
I know.
Are they gonna be out at a King of Hammers?
Yes.
Yes. they'll be
Okay,
there.
I'll camp with them then.
Yeah, I mean, we literally met up at the Olaf event in person. Like I was talking to them online, like in Instagram.
I guess I camped technically, but I didn't really.
That's where we met them in person.
Yeah.
And ever since
I
then,
talked to them then, but like, I didn't on a personal level. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Opt Off Road. We talk about, or at least I talk about them a lot. But they're a family run business, really knowledgeable, a lot of good stuff. So if you have any parts needs, go through them.
Yeah, for sure.
At the very least, they can help you with recommendations in a broad stroke as far as like what brands they do and don't trust, which is huge, right?
Yeah.
I mean, with the Overland thing being so big, if you have a car like a Tacoma or a 4Runner or even a ZR2 now, Tundras,
Yeah, they do stuff for mine too.
Like they've got stuff for almost
got a
everything,
Bronco
or they
now,
can get their
so.
hands on almost every. Yeah, Ford stuff, right? But not only can they get the parts, but they can also tell you like from their perspective what they see issues with, design flaws they don't like, things that are better about X brands, longevity, lead times, prices, better valving stereotypically for like this brand does it really well and this brand maybe does it well but not as well as other people kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's really good to like bounce some ideas, and like Jason can help you dial in your setup and probably even save you a few bucks while you're doing it.
Yeah.
Because he's going to say, hey, don't make this mistake. Everybody's done it. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Do this instead.
That kind of stuff is invaluable. I mean, Jared and I know, like, even when we're doing stuff, we're like, hey, we have newbie overlanders or whatever. And they say, hey, should we do this? And Jared and I are like, no,
Absolutely not.
no, it sounds great on paper, but don't do it.
If I had talked to him 10 days before I bought my parts, I would not have bought the coilovers I have in the front of my truck right now.
Yeah.
I would have bought a different brand and saved probably $200.
Yeah.
So
buy once, cry once.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
You talk to somebody who knows, who's been down that road.
Knowledge is power, man. Yeah, you've done it. You've already wasted your money. So listen to
talk to people. Get their perspective, and he's definitely one of those guys you talk to.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And then so other than my slight electrical problems, the Ram had some electrical problems too.
Not his fault though.
But not even remotely his fault. It was basically the company that built the rig the first time. His
I don't
truck,
even know who did it, but we're not going to put him on
Yeah,
blast.
he
but-
had said a name, and I think, to be honest, I don't necessarily think it was like they did it like on purpose. I think it was just like an afterthought they didn't finish. But he had he had an electrical
They were probably
problem.
like,
I think
he's probably not going to go through that much mud.
He's never going to use this.
everybody that we build these for never uses them anyways. But he had an electrical connector or a couple electrical connectors for like parking sensors that are no longer even on the rig, and they were like half the plug set up, so they weren't watertight, and basically they had just over time corroded. Like it wasn't just from Mojave, like this is from them having the rig built and them actively using it, and it just so happened to be that probably the salt made it extra conductive, and he was basically having like his body control module like having a weird ground, and weird grounds do all kinds of weird things.
He lost the ability to go up and down on his windows.
Yep.
Oh shit.
The heater just turned on.
Yeah, the whole
all kinds of
he was saying
on.
when it was running, he would have no control over HVAC, but then when he would shut it off as it was turning off, it would full blast heater.
Oh, that's what it was.
So basically his body control module, so all the stuff on like new cars that control like headlights and doors and door locks and HVAC and all that stuff, basically that was grounding out and was causing weird electrical gremlins to pop up here, there, and yonder, depending on how wet or like how muddy or what kind of voltage
How corroded.
things. Like, yeah, it was, I mean, that's exactly what happens when like you have a bad ground. It just sends
I love new cars.
Weird
All the
messages
electrical
everywhere. It's
shit.
like his dashboard was lighting up like your Tundra was when you were in Big Bear.
Yeah.
But the thing is that we have a group chat going on still for it. I think we're just going to keep it for next year.
Oh, for sure.
There's some good content in there.
Yeah,
definitely.
But he sent a picture of it, and it was just the two connectors, and he fixed it. It was an easy fix, but he had to drive all the way back to Utah because that's where they're from.
Oh
They're
shit.
they
You
are.
drove all the way from
Sand Hollow, so they're on the southern tip.
all right,
but
but still.
he still had to drive back to Utah. He was actually going to stay down here, but he was like, you know what? Same thing as you. You aired up and you went home because all your Christmas lights were on.
Yep.
He did the same thing.
Yeah.
So he went back, and they're going to come down for King of the Hammers.
Oh, nice, nice. I would say if anybody wants to check out this Tundra, his Instagram is overland_V1.0.
He doesn't have a Tundra. You said
Oh, I'm sorry,
Tundra.
Tundra. That's my head.
He's
Tundra.
actually
the
got
Ram.
He's actually got quite a few rigs. I think they have 4. They have a rock crawler,
a third gen Tacoma.
third gen Tacoma. They've got a
The Jeep.
JL diesel Ursa Minor setup,
It's dope.
and then they've got
Rubicon diesel. Yeah,
Rubicon
JK.
diesel, and then I think that's Avis Jeep. They
Oh, the
refer to
JK
it
little
multiple times
Jeep
as Avis
crawler.
Jeep,
And then
the JK is on like 39s,
Jeez.
and then the
All kinds
Tacoma's
of
just on
boys.
33s. I think that's their more mild build, and then they've got the Ram.
They said that if they were to do it over again, they should have brought the Jeep Myers. What was
Yeah,
it?
the Ursa Minor setup.
Ursa
So they
Minor
would have
setup.
brought her diesel JL instead.
Okay.
That would have been probably their quote unquote perfect rig. And they said that mostly because the Joshua Tree Forest,
Yes.
Oh, the height.
because of how high it is and how wide it is, that it was. I wouldn't say it was a bear to get through the Joshua Tree Forest,
It
but I
was
would say it was not
stressful.
enjoyable.
Yeah, I think that their rig size made it not as enjoyable because of the cliff drop off thing we talked about. It was too wide. If they would have their JL diesel, it'd been like no problem.
Nothing.
The Joshua Tree Forest, the overhang with the size of vehicle they had, big issue. And also a big reason why we didn't go back to the secret, not so secret forest area is because one, we had too many rigs for that, but also because the brush and tree overhangs and stuff like that, I don't know if that rig could make it back there. So we had to modify some of our
tight.
plans. It was a good modification. I'm totally happy with what we did, but it did limit them in certain areas. But in other areas, it's like whatever. It was Taj Mahal.
I was gonna say, I'm sure they were more happy than upset that they brought it.
Yes.
I think
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
more like because they had the heat, because they had the full size bed, because they had the area to enjoy when it was raining, where everybody else was like, okay, I'm either gonna stay in my tent or I'm gonna sit in the driver's seat of my car.
That's why I can't wait for my 4-wheel camper. I wish they
Yeah.
had more pictures of like their interior. I want to see how they had the interior set up.
Hit them up; they're super active.
Yeah.
Rob will send you a bunch of pictures.
Yeah.
Cool guy.
Yeah,
To be honest, they were both. They're good people.
Really good people.
Good people.
And not to mention, I don't know if I already mentioned this, but Avis and Kristen are going to be doing the Rebel Rally together. She's Avis is the navigator, and Kristen's the driver, and they're driving that Bronco that we
I
were
was saying
talking
they're taking
about.
the Bronco, right?
the Bronco.
Yeah, it's gonna be rad.
Yeah, and it was kind of funny because Kristen she's a driver, man. She's a driver, so she was like goosing it, and
Yep.
what do they call it? Yucking it or hucking
hucking it, yeah, hucking it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
you kept on hearing Avis like, "Don't huck it yet. You can't huck it because we got to keep it good for the."
Yeah, she's like, don't break it before the rebel.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't do her justice on the voice. That was a terrible voice I did. But you know what I mean? Like, it was
Yeah,
like,
she
"Don't
was.
huck it."
She was like, don't break my fun.
Yeah,
And like, I respect it. I respect it.
I respect it.
What's that reel that's going around like Samir, you're breaking the car. They're like doing a rally race, and this dude's just destroying. He's like, "You're not listening to me."
Oh yeah. I know what
Yeah.
you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but Kristen knows what she's doing. She's a great
Yeah,
driver.
yeah,
So I am really excited to see what they put down on the Rebel. And
Because I think this is Avis's like second or third.
it's her
year doing
second.
it.
I think it's
Oh,
her second
really?
or third.
So,
Yeah.
she is what you would call a veteran. I guess.
All right.
Yeah. So actually, it's her second time because last year was her rookie year, from what Kristen told me. So,
Gotcha. And she was with a
could be
different
wrong.
driver last year. So this is Kristen's first year driving, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
And what most people don't realize is they're covering a lot of miles.
Oh yeah.
And the Bronco, usually Jeep's podium. Because they have such a great following. There's a lot of experienced drivers doing that stuff. But Ford is like, dude, we want in on this. And, they have a Ford Bronco. They're not sponsored by Ford, but they want to see their Broncos do well. So, hey, Ford, if you're listening, you should
hit 'em
definitely
up.
sponsor them.
Yep.
Moonshot, but you know what I'm saying?
Hey,
Hey,
can't hurt.
anything helps.
Right. So I want to get into the end of our trip because two things happened. One thing pretty sad. I still want to see an update. We were leaving the Mojave Trails at the very end. Some dickhead, I'm sorry, I had to say it, but that guy, he parked his train and blocked the exit or entrance.
Train.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
blocked the train crossing where you go, and then you air up in the little area, and then you
yeah.
start driving to that 76 A&W root beer gas station that overcharges and
of course.
exploits you. But we ended up having to drive down the road. It actually was a fun little road, and I would have driven even faster had I known there wasn't any issues with the road.
Yeah, I think we were doing probably 50 on that. Next,
Oh,
next to the
that
train.
last. Yeah, you can just kind
And it
of.
was smooth.
It was
Yeah, oh,
very
yeah.
smooth, like almost like graded.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's well graded.
It was right along the power lines, and so we were
yeah.
mobbing on that for 6 miles or something.
It
or
was a
5
little
miles.
while, yeah.
And we had to make it to the next one, which is actually where the 76 is. So it wasn't a bad thing.
Yeah.
But as we're crossing, we started to notice traffic was like slowing down. And we're like, oh, I wonder why. We thought it was because all the Vegas traffic coming home from New Year's.
Oh.
Well, we air up, we're doing our whole thing. And Adam and I decided to break off and do our thing because the other people that were staying with them to have a little drivers meeting for their Rebel Rally. Allie and Mike had to get home, and Herb just booked it too. So Adam and I are leaving, and we get on the freeway, the 15, heading south, and traffic got really bad real quick. And we look over to the left, and there had been a motorcycle accident.
Oh, shitty.
And it technically was Yermo. So there was no emergency services. And it took us at least 30 minutes.
Yeah, I was going to say a
air
solid
up.
25 minutes.
Oh, wow.
But well,
you guys
sorry.
couldn't like cut over
It
to
took
like
us.
a
It
40
took
or
us
something?
we probably were airing quote unquote airing up for like 45 minutes.
Yeah, because we were talking, hanging out, saying
Yeah.
goodbye.
And
all that
then
stuff.
we got on the road, and then we were in traffic for 5 minutes, and then it was probably another 20 or 30 minutes down the road before we even saw flashing lights.
Yep.
Wow.
And
So whether it was right when we jumped on the highway or whether it was when we were airing up, it was a minimum of 30 minutes before anybody remotely showed up.
And
And it was a CHP commercial truck. It wasn't even like an EMT or a firefighter.
Really?
they were behind the truck.
Yeah.
Because like the truck he was talking about, they usually pull over big rigs and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that he was the first one out, and then there was a fire truck that was entering probably like 5 minutes after him.
Yep.
And then we saw the paramedic. But what I read on the internet, because I was following, I was trying to find an update. Like, did he make it? Did he not? Because we actually saw him laying on his back.
Oh, wow.
He was
People huddled around him, like shirt
2 lanes.
was like opened up, like somebody was trying to give him CPR kind of thing.
Yeah, and I found out from reading the article that I mean, we weren't able to do anything. There was already people there. There was already phone calls. So we were looky-looing just to make sure like everything was okay. But and there was people there, because if not, then we were obligated to go over there and help.
Yeah.
There was a bazillion people. We would just add to the chaos. Well,
Yeah.
people were actually driving through the center,
The dirt median.
the dirt medium, because he was in the middle of the 2 lanes
In the road, yeah.
Found out that luckily there was a travel nurse that was driving through, and she was one of the ladies helping out.
Okay, good.
So she was there, so she at least had somewhat experience,
Knowledge,
greater
yeah.
than just doing CPR. Because I'm first aid certified,
yeah.
but I'm a nobody. You know,
Yeah.
I can put a Band-Aid on, but I'm not going to do anything. But like you said, like these emergency service vehicles were late, not late, but they were so far away. I heard that they air evac'd them out. So the emergency services that we saw, they got there, they called for an air evac. And I was talking to Jason because he used to be a paramedic. He was saying that that's a good sign, because
They're not going to medevac somebody who's like got 0% chance.
Yeah. So my hope, and I haven't got an update, so if any of our listeners know, it was near Yermo at the end, but
It was
on the 15 North.
I think it was on the 2nd.
Yeah.
January 2nd.
Yeah, January 2nd. So if anybody knows, please let us know, because I'm really concerned about it for some reason. But they air evac'd him, which is a good sign. So, I mean, he got something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to be honest, that, and then also, Ken Block passed away the
dude,
same day.
right?
It's kind of just like
Started the year off all shitty,
We
dude.
had a really good trip, and then like we enter back into civilization, and it's just like we get smacked with 2 harsh realities
Did
of,
with that one.
how important like being safe is. So
Yeah, being safe and also living life, man, because you never know.
Yeah.
You never know. Tomorrow's not promised, is what they say.
yeah, that's kind of one of the things that I want to look at more in the new year is not like putting things off. Like, I went, my first trip out of the country with my wife, right before New Year's, and then New Year's we got to enjoy Mojave Trail together. And I just don't want to slow down the forward progress of enjoying like what's out there and what I can get to. Yeah. I'm
We're
young.
not getting
I'm young.
younger.
I don't have kids.
Yeah.
I'm married. My
Do it
wife likes to
now.
go out with me. It's like, now is my chance. I'm definitely looking forward to those opportunities, making more friends, seeing the places. And while I'm doing it, being as safe as possible, kind of.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's why I started doing the overland kind of thing, just 'cause I want to go out there and experience all this stuff. And like, it's not, it's going to be too late eventually. I'm going to be too old to do it. So I want to get out there and do it while I can. So,
Yeah, there's this Instagram audio that's going around that they're talking about. I think you actually posted it.
I did make a post about it just because I don't know. I very rarely do I have things that like I just listen to it and I'm like, oh yeah, that hits home. And
Yeah,
that was just one of the
sentimental.
things that like, it was very much so like, I don't care if it gets any traction, but like that was like for me to just remind myself that like I need to get out and like.
Well, tell them what it
enjoy.
says.
It's something along the lines of, you know,
You work your whole life.
yeah,
to 67.
you work to 65. The average life expectancy is 78 or 77. That only gives you 12 years if you wait.
Yeah.
So live every day like it's your last, and basically make the best of everything you can.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
It's way better if you listen.
Yeah,
to it.
obviously. Yeah.
But it's a sentimental feeling, and you know, I come from a family who they like to travel, but it's kind of like doing the same thing, and there's never been like out of the country kind of thing. And they don't necessarily live all that long. So like it kind of just rings true. Like I'm not going to be here very long, and I'm probably going to be working the whole time, but I might as well use the time that I can while I'm not working to enjoy it with my wife or future kids, dog, friends, family, whatever, you know?
Yep.
Yeah. You work your whole life so you can go sit in a lazy boy and
Exactly.
watch. You know,
I'd rather make my retirement years the early years and then
While you
work the
can
rest of
enjoy
my
it.
life.
Yeah.
Right.
And I kind of juggle that. It's like, I've always kind of been in an office job
balance,
for the most part.
yeah.
It's like, I'd rather work an office job at 70 and have been and be able to like
Look
travel
back
the
on all
world
the-
or like travel America in my 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and like look back on fond memories with important people doing important things as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, that was it kind of hit home, but like you said, you know, the year kind of started off with some harsh realities.
Definitely.
But to finish the Mojave trip,
Yeah.
we had so much mud on our vehicles.
Oh.
So much mud. And Adam and I were going down, and he's like, I got to stop for gas because he's got a gas hog. And dude, I literally could have driven from the casino all the way home and made it on a tank of gas.
Yeah,
Really?
talk
Yes.
about
Holy
fuel
shit,
efficiency.
man.
He sipped fuel. I want to say
What were your MPGs on that?
he only put in
didn't
five.
look.
He only put in 5 gallons. When we were putting in gas, he was still at a half a tank. I was down
over half a tank.
I was down to
Holy
a quarter,
shit.
and I have a 26-gallon tank.
Chevy Colorado for the win, man.
And
Yeah.
my tank's only 20 something gallons, but low 20s. And I put in the 5 gallons. But when everybody was fueling up, I had over half a tank. I had basically 2/3 of a tank.
Damn, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then I put the 5 gallons in, and I basically had
yeah.
almost a full tank again.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
talk about
it did really well. And I was fully loaded. I was carrying an extra. I didn't have my rooftop tent this time, which is good.
More aerodynamic, but yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, honestly,
Still,
that
that's
really
not-
wasn't. I had
So he
two
still
tents.
That big a factor.
He's still got the awning on the roof.
Yeah.
He's still got the
Shower
shower
tent.
tent. He's still got the
Rifle
roof rack and the
cases.
rifle cases.
Yeah.
Like fuel efficiency
Still got
wasn't
some
going to get
drag.
much worse or much better with taking the tent off.
Yeah.
And it's less of a weight thing, obviously.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. With the washboards, you don't want all that weight just like
yeah,
bouncing.
He for sure had the best mileage out of everybody.
No shit.
And that's still with like the gasser version of the Colorado too, which is very
Yeah, not
impressive.
diesel,
So,
yeah.
Yeah, I don't even have the diesel. I have the
Yeah.
3.6 gas. But anyways, so we were so muddy. He had to break off, and he's like, I got to go to Costco. And I'm like, you know what? I have enough gas to get home. I'm just going to get home. I want to beat the Vegas traffic. Which the Cajon Pass was a little bit of traffic. Wasn't bad.
I think it was mostly looky-loos on the Cajon Pass because I'm going to be honest, because I actually ended up meeting with Herb. I didn't tell you this. So like Herb stopped at Freddy's Steak Burgers and he got his gas at Shell
Yep.
down the road, and then I caught up to him on the 15 in like Victorville probably, and then we're
Victimville.
Victimville. Yeah, we're going down the Cajon Pass. And him and I are chatting because while he's eating his cheese curds, and we've got
Okay, so he was talking about Freddy's the whole time. He's like, every time I go through Victorville, I have to get Freddy's.
Yeah, Freddy's custard and
I've
yeah.
never had it.
we were trying to get the entire group to go, and it just basically just fell apart.
Everybody wanted to go.
Everybody had different plans. Like Robin Avis wanted to go back north to deal with her truck, and
They're having a drivers meeting anyways, and plus Jason and Kristen go down the backside because they're in Joshua.
yeah, they
Tree.
split out partway through Victorville. I think even before
Yeah.
you get to where the Freddy's is at. But I saw the Freddy's pass, and I was like, oh, I wonder if I'm going to catch up to Herb. I did.
Yeah.
So we're going down the highway, chatting with each other, just buzzing down the highway, and then we get to the Cajon Pass, and it's basically like I see pictures. Like there was 3 or 4 cars pulled off on the side of the road taking videos of the mountain. Because it was like you see the backside of Mount Baldy, and then off to the left
It was
you
pretty.
see like
It was
it was
good.
beautiful. To be honest, I would describe it as like driving through Utah or Colorado.
Oh, wow.
In like late or early winter, right after they get their first heavy snow. It was beautiful.
It was beautiful. Like when you're
it's a pretty
approaching
scenic
it,
area, yeah.
You saw all the snow.
You saw
and
the
it was heavy
backside of
snow.
Mount Baldy, and it was beautiful.
Nice.
And there was like people videotaping it on their cars, and there was no accidents, which is great. Obviously, it was just there was a lot of people moving, and we got down relatively quick. But it was.
Yeah, but you guys were behind me.
Yeah,
so
I was way behind. I
ahead.
was way behind him because like I had to wait in Costco line for like 20 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'm booking it down the 15 and I'm making good time. And I found out my wife wasn't even home yet. So I was like, cause they were at like a dance thing. And I was looking up car washes, like do-it-yourself car washes, which, by the way, I'm sorry, but I do this for a living, but Google sucks when it comes to try to find because it kept on sending me like car wash links to like the ones where the drive-through ones, whatever else, but there was none of the ones where you do it yourself. I even said do it yourself car wash. Like I tried different searches, whatever. I said, you know what? Norco, which is Horsetown, USA, they've got to have some sort of car wash that doesn't give a shit about all his mud. So, because most of them, Herb was telling us, they run up after him like, no, you can't wash here. Yeah. And then Allie actually washed hers off in San Diego area, Carlsbad area, and it had actually said $20 service fee for overly soiled vehicles and everything else because they have to clean up the stall.
Yeah, clogs the drains. And
clogs the drains and everything else. But it was late at night, and she's like, "Fuck it, nobody's here. I'm doing it." And who am I going to pay?
Yeah,
like, do I just is it like an honor system? No. Anyways. So I found this place in Norco, and I pull up because it was called the Dirt Stripper Car Wash.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, if these motherfuckers yell at me for stripping dirt, then I'm gonna be like, you need to change your sign, sir.
That's false advertising.
It's false advertising. So I was like, I'm
here to strip some dirt.
At least I have somewhat of an argument if I pull in and some guy comes up running after me. I pull in. And sure as shit, 2 attendants come running over, and they're like, no. And I was like, oh, fuck.
In the back.
I
Son of a bitch.
So I was like, God damn it. I really need to get this mud off because it has salt in it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, and it's everywhere, bro.
Yeah.
So they pull up. I didn't even get out of my car yet. I'm getting out of my car, and they're running over, and they get to my stall, and they're like, hey, don't do it here. I'm like, oh. And they're like, go around the back. Because there's a big rig wash, like an 18-wheeler.
Yeah.
And so he said, the reason why I want to send you there is because these don't have as high as pressure, as well as those have hot water, which will cut through the mud a lot easier.
Yeah. No,
Yes.
when I say this car wash was a complex, it was a complex.
Wow.
It was not a drive up. There's 8 bays. There was probably 30 bays.
Oh shit!
And even the long, like the big ones for the big rigs, it was long enough for a big rig with a 53-foot trailer to fit underneath the covered area.
Oh,
yes.
There was 2 stalls in each, and there was 2 rows, 2 stalls in each. So you could have 2, or you could have 4 pickup trucks in this covered area.
And there was, because the guy in front of me, he took up the middle, and he was like, oh shit. And so when his timer ran out, he moved it forward, but he didn't leave. And he's like, he gets out of his car and he walks up to me, and I was like, oh God, is this guy? Because I was already waiting. I was waiting about 15 minutes for him because he had his truck with a trailer with a razor on the back, and he was washing everything.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh man, I'm gonna be here forever. Well, he pulls up and he comes back and he's like, hey man, there's a separate coin system behind you. We're credit card system.
Yeah, okay.
And he's like, use that. I'll use the one in the front. I was like, dude, thank you. So now there's so many nice people at the car wash. What's also cool about this big rig wash is it has the higher pressure system. It has the hot water with soap. They also have a degreaser, and they also have like 50 different settings, but there's 2 levels to it because it's a big rig wash.
Yeah,
you can walk up next to it and get up on top of the trailer.
That's fucking rad.
Dude, because there was mud on my roof too. And I was like looking down on my rig, washing it down because you always go top to bottom.
Yeah.
And so I washed it all off. And dude, I spent $35 in like time with the hot water and soap. I didn't even use the scrub brush because I didn't want to just be rubbing dirt and mud and
scratching
rocks.
it in.
So I was just using the pressure washer with the hot water and soap. And I got that thing what looked like squeaky clean, right? And as I'm finishing up, like near the second half of my thing, all of a sudden Adam pulls up.
Oh, really?
And I realized looking back at the group chat, because I had posted a video and I took a picture of the dirt stripper car wash. I think that's how you found it, probably. Adam was like, dude, you need to tell me where this is. And I wasn't answering because I was too busy washing.
Because I basically tracked his way home. Basically.
Yeah.
Him and I are in the same general area.
And I was hoping Herb would show too, because he has to take that way and then go down the 91. But anyways, I washed my whole rig. It looked actually pretty clean. I just bailed out. I was like, sorry, dude, later.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed, but you were already washing by that time.
No, I was knee deep in trying to get the salt shit off of my soon to be rusted
everything.
Yeah. So I literally washed the whole outside. I thought I did a great job. I literally spent so much time on this thing, spent almost $40 in hot water and soap. And I get home and I look underneath the undercarriage and I'm like, holy shit, dude, that's like
just
a whole nother car I need to wash. So by this time it starts raining outside and at my house. I haven't even I still haven't unloaded, by the way. I unloaded my refrigerator. That was it. So I get out and I get my pressure washer out, which isn't even as high as pressure as the washer.
Home one. Yeah.
And I lay down and it's raining and I'm sitting here spraying the undercarriage, getting all the mud. It looked like a murder scene when I was done, dude. It was so, I took pictures of it. I'll have to post it, but there was that much mud just on the undercarriage, and it was just as much as it was when I arrived at the main car wash.
Yeah, it was. So I obviously went to the same car wash as Ben. I spent for $17 or for 17 minutes. It was, or 12 minutes or whatever. It was like we spent $35 at like the main car wash, but then because my parking situation is a little different, I knew that I was going to have to like actually wash my car before I went home. So I pulled into one of the other stalls after I did their like main mud removal section. And then like I actually like soaped the whole car, brushed the whole car, brushed the wheels kind of thing. Like I actually made an effort to clean everything off. I had brand new tires and wheels. This is the first time I ever used it. And I really do not want to have like salt erosion on my finish on my brand new Icons.
No, okay.
So that would clean. Really, I made an effort to keep them clean. So I went over and I probably spent like another $30.
Yeah. So you probably spent like 60,
I spent
$70.
$60 and this is a reminder to everybody that mud fucking is not worth it.
Yeah, no.
Every puddle, every mud thing, just don't do it.
It's fun. Like when I was in high school, like I aimed for puddles and all that kind of stuff. Like, oh, yep. No. And I even said on our way up to when we were doing the Big Bear run, I'm like, I'm not going to hit any puddles. Staying away from puddles. I'm not doing it.
It's like a magnet, dude.
The peer pressure is a motherfucker, dude.
well, the irony is the last time I was on this podcast, I talked about how I went through a mud puddle and killed an alternator. And now I'm going through mud puddles again, and now I'm almost getting stuck in neutral, like 300 miles from my house.
Yeah, it's definitely, and we couldn't wait because some people were like, or sometimes people would think, oh, I'll just wait. I'll wash it like when I have time next weekend. Yeah. No, with this type of mud with salt, wash it off.
Well, that was the thing. Salt. Like I didn't know it was salt until we were already in like by Traveler's Monument. I was like, motherfuckers.
Dude,
if I would have known if I would have known that it was salt, I probably would have said, can we just go around this? Because like I know what it takes to clean off salt. And it's really to the point where you need to take your truck, put it on jack stand, suspension full droop, tires and wheels off.
Yeah.
And get underneath it on a roller, wear a swimsuit.
Yep.
Yeah. Otherwise, I mean, you could hose it like you said, completely clean.
Visually, it looks great. Yeah. But your frame's now got a hole through it because 3 years ago you didn't wash off the salt when you went to somewhere.
The only good thing about the Toyota having the C-channel frame.
Yeah. I have a fully boxed frame. Yeah. And so all the
little holes along the side, you just stick your hose in there and hope it gets it out.
I haven't done that.
Mine's a fully boxed frame, but also I've got a frame from 20 years ago. Yeah. And a frame that at that time was very much so known for rusting to pieces.
Yeah, the Tacoma too. My first Tacoma.
Like the late 90s, 2000s Toyota stuff is known for frames rusting to pieces, like putting your finger through it. Like it's not.
Oh yeah,
it's a strong enough frame when it's working great, but when it's not working great, it falls to pieces.
Toyota did a recall,
bunch of frame replacements,
and they were doing frame replacements on a lot of the Tacomas
and the Sequoias too.
And Sequoias, and you had 10 years to get it done.
Yeah, and I think they might have even extended it to 15 because there was guys. There's people that in 2019 had frames replaced on 2006 Toyota Sequoias.
Yeah,
because they had like class action lawsuits, and same thing with the Tundras too. Basically, anything late 90s, early 2000s from Toyota, they were using. I don't know,
some of the best vehicles,
tin can steel. They just had really shitty frames. Yeah. So like basically, if you find a clean something in like Michigan, it's either had a frame replaced or they're hiding all the bad parts.
Yep.
But. Yeah, that's why. Like, if I would have known that it was a salt flat, I would have said, "Is there a way we can go around this?" Because I know it's muddy.
There's really not a way around it.
And now, obviously, now I know. But at the time, like, I didn't know that it was a salt flat until we basically got to the other side, and I was like, oh,
even on the dry, even when it's dry and not wet and muddy like it was,
you're still kicking dirt.
You're still kicking dirt up there.
Oh yeah,
it's salty. And like my first gen Tacoma, the first year we did it was all dry, and man, it was. I could tell it went through some salt, and that was on a dry.
And that's and I was gonna say, and that's another thing. It's like when you have the wet mud with the salt, it's almost like a catalyst to make it happen 10 times faster.
Oh yeah, just packs it in.
Packs it in there, and then like again, C-channel frame versus boxed frame. Like if it gets in there, like now you got a hole in 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean that's why
it just lives in there,
and it was like silty clay salt. Yeah, like it was like super glued to the side of the car. Like you needed 5,000 psi to peel it off.
Yeah,
and it took that.
It took every bit of it. Like I'm washing the same clump 6 times.
Come on, motherfucker.
No, it was.
And then I washed my wheel well, and there is like Subway sandwich sized chunks of mud coming off of my wheel wells.
dude.
Huge.
No, you're not
Huge.
joking.
No,
And
I
by the
believe
way,
it.
And I can grab it with one hand and pick it up
Yeah.
like a piece of bread.
Yeah.
And shake it around, and then it doesn't fall apart. Like it's glue.
Yeah.
I almost want to drive my Colorado to work all the way in Woodland Hills tomorrow.
Just to get
To
Oh, the
drive
rain?
in the rain because
'Cause
it's
it's
going to be
super
heavy
storm?
rain
Yeah.
coming, and it's
Yeah.
going to be during my drive to work.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? I may even take my
Just to get
big
that.
old chili Colorado because honestly, dude, like I washed it at the car wash, got home, undercarriage washed it, parked it, and it's been raining. And all of a sudden, I look under my car and there's huge chunks of mud still coming off of it, dude. And I
Yeah.
pressure washed the shit out of that thing.
Allie posted a picture of that thing. Like, oh, you can see where I parked yesterday because there was just like mud all around that parking space.
Now, hopefully, because we did some water crossings after that, like it got
Went a little bit.
a good
out.
chunk out of it. Hopefully, because we did a little bit of soft
just so
sand.
sticky, though.
we did a little bit of soft sand stuff, and then we did a little bit of water crossings.
A lot of shaking.
A lot of shaking.
A lot of the vibration.
So, like, I think a good amount of it came off. So, I think as long as you washed it that day, you're going to be okay thoroughly, like as good as you could.
And that was my point about like we were ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
Because if we were on schedule, that would have been our last day.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have caked on and baked on overnight.
Yeah.
So
I got time to sit and settle.
yeah, and it sat a little bit, and it did dry to a point until it rained again. But we did do the water crossing. I don't think the water came up to the frame though.
On both water crossings for me at least.
Okay, well then it definitely did for me because you're on
Yeah.
35s, I'm on 32 and a half.
in. Yeah. From my, I mean, it wasn't as deep.
And I'm
as-
rounding up
as
for the
usual.
32 and a half,
Yeah,
by the way.
Yeah.
32.3.
It's a 32.4, but
Come on, it counts.
But yeah,
I'm not
it
your
was.
bruh.
It wasn't as deep as it usually is, but it's still, yeah, it got up there.
yeah. So
And that ties back into like the last water crossing had some of the nastiest smelling water at the end. I would say
barnacles.
that arguably that was worse than the salt.
just
The smell. I get out of the car and I'm like, I'm almost gagging. Like I don't like that like stagnant water with
Yeah,
algae
swamp
smell.
ass. Yeah.
swamp grass.
Swampy ass swamp.
Yeah,
No bueno.
but overall, I do have a request from one of our listeners, Sergio, Pro4X
Hey.
Sergio. He said, Ben, I want to hear your new rating because remember we did
that's
the
right.
rating.
Oh,
You did
yeah.
call us on it. Yeah.
Yeah. He called me out and he's like, hey, man, I want to hear your new rating now that you did the Mojave Trail again since our last episode. So I forgot what the rating scale was. Do you remember what it was?
You ranked it pretty high.
Did you rate it like an 8?
No,
or something?
I ranked it pretty low.
But it was a 0 to 10 scale.
Was it 0 to 10?
I'm pretty sure it was a 0 to 10.
I think I put it right in the middle because I
Like
was
a
like,
6.
eh,
And
I thought you were like a
6.
6 to 8 or something. Because I was like, you were real hyped on it because like you had just done it. So you're like, I think you ranked it pretty high.
So here's
This was your second time in the Colorado, right?
second time in the Colorado. So third time doing it, second time in Colorado.
So, but you had a totally different setup this time than you did even last time, right?
Each time has been different.
Because
Yeah.
you didn't have the alu cab last time. So like your
No, I
weight
did.
setup.
He did.
Oh, did you?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had the rooftop tent last time.
Okay. So, but still totally different setup
Different camping.
and different
experience.
weather and a couple different camp spots too.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah.
So I always say that this trail is in your rating of the trail determined by the group that you go with.
True. And it's not a difficulty rating, it's an enjoyability rating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's enjoyable with the right group. With the wrong group, it's miserable. And so what I'll say is this group that we went with was absolutely phenomenal. Everybody was awesome. Great time, great company, no issues, no conflicts of, personalities or anything
Yeah.
like that. It was a good time. And nobody was like, oh, I want to do this, so we're going to have to do this. And they're very like stubborn, nobody
Everybody
was
go
like
with the
that.
flow. Yeah.
Everybody was chill. Everybody just wanted to like
Have a good time.
Herb was not my favorite, but he was like his approach to it was my favorite, which was I don't give a shit what happens because I'm taking a dab.
I'm here
I'm
for
gonna take a
good
dab
time.
and I'm gonna have some good food and I'm gonna enjoy my shit.
And I
Yeah.
always say on this podcast, it's about the food and the people. And honestly, that's what made it. So to answer Sergio's question,
Here it comes.
I would rate it, and I forgot what I rated it last time, but I'd rate it in my, one of my top trails. It would be up in that eight section on a scale of 0 to 10.
All right. See?
Only
I think it's about the same.
because the people, but also because it is way more enjoyable than this truck. So yeah, it was a good time.
I would probably echo that same number from an overlanding point of view.
Yes.
From
not necessarily a technical,
and
all that. But
I tend to come from
overall-
more like a Nepo and Kevin kind of view,
Crawling,
which is like
yeah.
they've got Jeeps on 37s and they want to crawl.
Yeah.
And they want to have some more technicalities. It would obviously rank a little lower on that scale because there really is
Not as
there's only
challenging.
one quote unquote technical section. It's where that washout is when you're doing that mountain pass.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is easy peasy. But from an enjoyability, from a views standpoint, damn near a 10.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Especially when you're looking at some weather, like there's some snow or there's some rain.
Yeah, on the distance.
Well, in that
yeah.
one section we camped where it was all when it snowed, rained, that was all foggy. You guys didn't even get to see the full glory of that section.
Exactly. We were kind of seeing it in the morning, the following day, as the wind took away the snow and the rain around 10 a.m., 9:30, 10 a.m., and it just moves these clouds, and you're kind of just seeing like all these buttes pop up out of nowhere, and these rolling hills and this
There's a huge
savanna grass
plateau you
and
didn't even get to see.
massive plateaus that were behind us we didn't even know about, and all these crazy views because like where we camped was basically up in elevation. We were probably around 4,000 feet, 5,000 feet.
Yeah, it was
if I
like
had to guess.
4,100, I think, is what the
So
sign
yeah,
said.
we were around 4,100, 4,200 feet or something like that, and it was definitely beautiful to see. Now it's obviously more of like the deserty landscape. So if that's not your cup of tea,
Yeah.
whatever,
But
that's
this
not the trail
wasn't
for you.
super deserty. It was more of like the higher.
But it was like a high savanna. Almost.
High desert.
Exactly. It was like
And
high
was,
savanna
so,
grass.
so it was unique to see. I would say in terms of views and like just understanding the awes of what nature can provide. Damn near a 10. As far as the overall trail, probably in that 8 range in my opinion.
And that's mainly for me because of the people, because it is miserable in sections with washboards.
Yeah.
But you forget about those because you start to remember the people you're with, the good times, the laughs around the campfire, the food you ate. I mean, we had some bomb food.
Yeah.
I think that's like the overall score is an 8 for me because of that.
Well, then you have the banter on the radio. Everybody talking about how their rigs are falling apart because we're all going down
Always
the
a good
road. And this
time.
razor chop's just beating the shit out of everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's that, man.
All right. Nice.
That was a long episode. I'm sorry. We went into a lot of detail, but honestly,
It was fun. Yeah.
Adam and I went together.
We didn't even talk about our charcuterie board. Fucking.
You know what?
We'll save that for another episode.
You want to save it? Or
Oh,
you
I
want
don't
to-
care. You can get into it.
Okay, because it
but
actually
that
has to
could
do
get
with the
long.
Mojave Trail.
All right.
I just want to say it real quick. So, the first night is like a meetup night. Everybody's getting off work, and we all kind of meet up. We go gas up at the casino or nearby. Found out there's cheaper spots.
Needles.
Yeah. No, Needles
God,
is way
no,
more
not
expensive.
go anywhere
no,
near.
but there's a mile further than the Avi
Past the casino?
Past the casino, where Opt Off Road. He said was $1 cheaper a gallon.
Wow. I
Yeah.
always just get it
Because it was $3.99 when I filled up at Avi on the Nevada side.
bad, yeah.
It was $3.97 at my house in Corona.
Really?
Yeah, it was cheaper and even closer to where we got on the dirt the first time.
Yeah. So they must have raised prices or something. But anyways, the first night we get there and I'm starving, and Herb tells me he's stuck in traffic. So the food that we were going to work on and eat together wasn't going to be there till 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. So I busted out a charcuterie board immediately because I had those pre-made Columbus or whatever it was.
Called-
You buy them at like Costco or whatever. I rip it open and I was like, "Hi, everybody, I got charcuterie." And I go, "Are you even overlanding? Is this even an overland experience
Nope.
without charcuterie?" So I had to bring it, and I whipped it out the first night. So yeah,
Hey, it's a spot, man. You can't go wrong with like meats and cheeses and crackers and whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and you got that audio that's going around with like the kid and the mom talking about their charcuterie
Yeah.
board. Then
Get
Yeah.
some
there's like a reel
laid
going
out.
around about how it's like, oh, are you even overlanding if you don't have a charcuterie board?
yeah,
Nope.
it's a necessity. But
Well, yeah. Well, you were saying like you had like those like the cheese ball or something like that.
Yeah, so we
yeah.
were talking about this.
The
and,
cheese
like,
log.
cheese
Cheese
log, and then
With
that
the
brought me
nuts
back to
on it.
like
Yeah.
my mom every holiday season makes like 6 or like a dozen cheese balls, and it's like cream cheese and a bunch of other stuff all mixed together. She balls it up, and then she has like the crushed almonds on the outside. And this is something that like my mom's always done. It's always been in the family. Like it's a family tradition basically. So now I know that I need to like
terrible for you.
Yeah, it's absolutely terrible, but
Delicious.
absolutely terrible, but also absolutely amazing. So I need to bring one of those over for you guys to enjoy the next time we're out, kind of thing.
yeah,
because I know my mom has some extra ones.
Yeah, and there's a lot of cool things too that I mean most people think about the meats and cheeses and it's all just kind of like the salamis and stuff like that,
Comfort
pepperonis.
food type. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, Herb, he actually brought which I follow him on Instagram. It's like this wild caught fish that they get it in Alaska. They chop it up and they put it whole essentially in these cans. So it's like a canned fish. And it stays good. It's great for like, you know, if you're a prepper or something like that, or if you just want to have some extra food that's doesn't require refrigeration
Or cooking.
or cooking. It was smoked salmon and it tasted so damn good. It's very expensive, but it's very good because I priced it out. I was like, oh, I'm going to buy some.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And then I was like, oh, fuck.
maybe not.
Hard pass.
Yeah. But if you're doing a charcuterie board, you want to step your game up. Pro tip: it's like the we'll post it for this episode. We'll post it, and it's this wild caught fish cannery place that's very hipster. It'll up your charcuterie game if you want to do that.
Yeah, and then he had some homemade like garlic, sesame, spicy sauce thing
So
that
good.
barely put a little bit on there, and you could feel the kick.
Oh my god,
It was
so good.
very good though.
Now Herb typically makes the Philadelphia cream cheese. He scores it, seasons it, and puts it on his Traeger and smokes it. That shit is stupid good.
Herb is my spirit animal.
Okay.
I know.
So we were out and Matt Kester, no longer secondhand overland, but he's going to give me shit for this. But like, I almost want to buy a scuttle just to make this. So Eric with American Overland, it was our dessert. Okay, we had a bomb out. It was a potluck. We're out of camp. We brought something for dessert. He breaks out the scuttle, gets a slab of brie cheese, throws it in the middle, heats it up. Gets it soft, flips it back over, gets it real soft. Then dumps jalapeno jelly on top and just melts it into it. And then he has all these little pre-cut little, pieces of bread, toasts those, and then puts out a plate of them all toasted, and everybody just goes in and dips into that shit.
Oh my god!
Holy fuck, dude, that was good.
I'm gonna do that.
Dude, no, I kind of just want to buy a scuttle just to fucking do that on.
You have that really big one, don't you, Ben?
I have
a king disc one. And the key was, so he layered it with, for easy cleanup, he put tinfoil down.
Okay.
Yeah,
He wrapped
smart.
it. Otherwise, you just have fucking a mess of cheese. But
The worst part about
all of
camping
us,
is the
like
dishes.
there was like 8 of us there. We're like, oh, that's cool. And then like, holy shit, this is fucking good. Next thing you know, we're all huddled around the thing on a cold night. We're all just eating this warm brie cheese with jalapeno
was
jelly.
this?
When we're up at Lytle Creek.
a couple weeks ago,
that was when you did the trail cleanup.
Yeah. And oh my god, that was like, he's like, hold on, let me prepare this dessert. We're like, what are you doing, dude? And like, oh, okay, I get it now.
fair game.
Dude,
Fair,
you know what's
fair.
funny
It's so good.
is the Philadelphia cream cheese comes.
That's what reminded
with
me.
the aluminum foil. So it's like that's what it's wrapped in. So that's literally why I
Open it
Bread
did
it
it. So
open
then
and
you
you're
just
good.
you can just toast it and just cook it and like all that other stuff. So anyways, instead of charcuterie, you can bust out some crazy shit like we just talked about. We need to do a whole nother episode.
Oh,
of
wait,
Herb.
we need to do a food
get
episode.
Herb on
God,
here.
Yeah, you guys
Herb.
got to get Herb on.
He doesn't want to come on.
He doesn't want to come on. He doesn't like to talk.
But
on
when
a
you're in
mic.
camp, he loves
What
to
a
talk.
weenie.
He's so
I'll
fun
just-
at camp.
I'll be like, dude, take a dab and just get on.
Just relax. We won't even
You'd
tell
have-
you you're
you'd
on,
have
dude.
Such a fun time.
You would.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
To be
He's
honest,
fun.
I think more or less it's the drive time for him.
Yeah.
A bit of a drive, unfortunately. That's what's hard for a lot of
I
people.
mean, I think it took him 7.5 hours to get to the camp spot.
Yeah, there was a flipped over car on the 91 that he got stuck in.
that
It was in the
sucks.
fast track lane too. So he was like,
And then
he was
holiday
buzzing along and I was
traffic,
like,
I can imagine. Yeah, that sucks.
but anyways, we'll dig into some more.
We gotta do a food
camp
foodie ep.
tips. We'll have to get somebody who knows what they're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know shit.
I know how to
obviously.
eat it.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
prepare it. I will chow it down.
I can grade it and eat it. But as
I'll
far as
give
the
it
making
on a
part-
5-star scale rating. I mean, I can do that.
Yeah, the most exquisite thing I made when we were camping was burgers.
Yeah,
It smelled good.
It wasn't tartare this time.
True. All right. Well,
We want to wrap up. Get some. You want to plug up some stuff, or
You
at
know,
that point?
I do have one plug. It's actually happening on Saturday. It's the Breakfast Club for Rigged for Dirt. Did you see that?
I did.
Yeah, that's a
in Orange
cool
County.
idea.
Yeah,
The mini will not be up and running for that, but I'm going to try to at least make it out there. I don't know if I can or not yet. Would love to kind of go check that out.
Is that a rain or shine thing?
I'm sure. Yeah, we posted it on our stories.
Because the weather moves around like crazy right now. Like it was like, hey, we're not going to have any rain this day, and now tomorrow's going to dump.
It's on a Saturday. It's it's at 24411 Ridge Route Drive Ridge Route Drive, Laguna Hills, California.
Look it up. Rig for Dirt. Go check out their Instagram. They posted it up. Rigged for Dirt, which is a podcast.
Kate the Jeep, he'll have it posted up.
Yep, he posted
Trucky McTruckface, he'll post it up too. And we have it on our story as well. But
well,
fun little meetup.
Yeah, we'll try to make it out there. I'm not sure if we can, or when I say we, I mean me. But I don't know about what you're doing, Jared. But
I don't know,
fixing your truck,
fixing my truck.
So that's my plug.
Cool.
I'd like to plug a few things if it's all right.
Absolutely.
Definitely, Jason and his wife Kristen with Opt Off Road.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Killer people. I know we talked about them with the podcast. I know Ben talks about them, and
Quite frequently.
Always. Yeah.
It's because they're good people.
Always.
The reason they keep getting talked about
now,
is
right?
because they're good people.
Yeah.
And I could tell, you tell pretty quick who the people you want to be around are and who the people you don't want to be around. And those are people that are definitely good to be around.
Yep.
They have good heads on their shoulders. Good attitudes, people, welcoming. They're the kind of people that, like, if you don't want to cook, they'll cook it for you, kind of thing. They're the people that have your back, basically.
That's cool.
They literally gave us the shirts, not off their back, but they gave us shirts.
Yeah, exactly. They had shirts that were part of, they have a thing that when they do Mojave, like with other people, like the shirts are part of it, because that's where the Opt Off Road logo of the Ram started.
Oh, really?
It actually started. They basically spent like half a day getting their vehicle unstuck from wanting to follow a Ram up into the mountains, kind of thing.
Oh, cool.
Afton Canyon.
Oh,
yeah.
all right.
They were telling us a story about how the company started and like how it got its mascot and all that good stuff, and it was interesting to see.
I didn't know that. That's rad.
Yeah, and then that's about it. Oh, shout out to Avis and Kristen as well for doing the Rebel Rally. Like they're prepping for that. So when that's all up and running, you'll be able to watch them and track them, because I think online, like, you can track actively like how close people are to
can you?
different waypoints.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could check it online. That'd be rad.
So I'd have to get the details from Rob on like how to do it.
Jesse and Crystal are gonna be doing it too.
Yep.
So we'll have to check.
It'd be nice to see like how people are competing, because like I guess they have to they were telling us all about it, but basically like you get a tracker, and I didn't know much about it before, but they get a tracker and like they have to, using the stars and
Right.
and an astrolabe, they have to figure out like where they have to go, and then they hit like this little GPS tracker deal, and like that's how they get points if they're like close enough, and it's less of a time thing but more of like a distance to and accuracy thing. And I thought it was a rally to me usually means
no, because they have a speed limit too.
Yeah, and like there's limits to speeds in some sections. Like
essentially.
there's different kinds of sections basically. I mean, when I hear rally, my mind goes to like
Dakar,
the Dakar rally, where they're like, how quickly can you traverse this section?
Yeah.
It's not like there's any limitations. It's like, here's your class, just go.
Yeah.
Whereas with the Rebel Rally, it's more like, how accurate are you? How good are you at what you're doing? Can you stay within parameters of this section? So it's not just how quickly can you go.
It's distance, time. There's strategies around keeping your rig, the longevity of it, because it's a long race, all off road. So
yeah, there's
it's also
point
like, do you want to air down to this
fuel
PSI or this
yeah.
PSI, because we're expecting to go over this kind of terrain versus this kind of terrain. So like if you're gonna
gas is important,
and gas is important too, because like it all gets tabulated in. But shout out to them, because like that's a really impressive thing to do.
And they don't live close either. I mean, like Avis and Rob live in Utah.
Yeah, they're in southern Utah.
Yeah.
And then Kristen's obviously, they're out in, Joshua Tree, Yucca Valley area kind of thing. So like that's pretty far from each other. And
but they make it happen.
Yeah, to be running as co-pilot and driver. Like
hopefully we can get them on in like after the
yeah, we already talked about it. They're gonna
give us a recap of it. That'd be rad.
I want to have them on before.
Before and after.
I want the before and after story.
Yeah.
So because we had Jesse and Crystal on, they were gonna do it
Jesse's
last year, but they put it on hold till this year. So they're
a little more practice in. Yeah,
they're gonna compete against each other.
Yeah,
and we can't take sides because we love them both.
Yeah.
But I definitely think there's some stiff competition this year.
Oh, yeah.
With the drivers and the navigators
and the vehicles too.
And the vehicles, because the thing is, and I've heard this, and they'll probably slap me for saying this, but there's a lot of competition in the buildup, and the like, oh, what are you doing it for? Oh, we're just doing it for fun.
Yeah.
And other no, like there's a whole mental game that goes to it too.
Psychological getting there. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's funny. I mean, at the end of the day, it comes down to performance and how they're actually going to do, but Obviously, I'm rooting for those two teams to have. I just hope everybody has fun.
Yeah. I just want them to finish.
We're hoping for the two of them
have
to
a good-
do very well.
Very
Let's just
well.
leave it like that.
Very well.
Yeah, I don't care if it's 1-2. I just want them to go 1-2.
Yeah.
So,
All right. I'll throw a few out. I got a couple. Sorry. I want to shout out Nepo 4122.
Yep.
He's got a brand new wind shackle and fair lead you can get.
sick, dude.
It's sick. I actually
Factor
ordered one.
55
Did
is
you?
cool,
Yeah.
but
I would say, like, having seen the Factor 55s and having seen the 4122, and like I'm friends with Nepo outside of the podcast and hanging out and whatnot. He
Full
racks,
disclosure.
full disclosure. He racks his brain on how to make something unique, but also utterly capable
Yeah, functional.
at a reasonable price for what is being sold,
Absolutely.
and it looks cool every time.
Yeah. No, and function and design, like it looks really rad too. And
Yeah.
and multiple colors, like you can mix and match the colors and all that stuff. It's
Yeah, like the winch shackle fits into the fair
yeah,
lead.
it
Yeah.
locks into it, and it's
so it doesn't
really
rattle
well
as
designed.
much.
Yeah.
and- yeah, it's cool, man.
Yeah,
I
I
saw
can't
it when he was talking about it. I didn't really understand, and then I saw pictures of it. I was like, "Damn, that is cool."
Yeah.
And I think he's also, I don't want to like screw the pooch on this one, but I think he's also talking about maybe doing some other things that have similar design
Yeah, they kind of go together.
views,
Yeah.
but also provide other utilities.
Well, he just released that new, and he even tested it too. It was like a 30,000-pound breaking point.
Yeah.
That was the D ring. It wasn't even his product.
Yeah.
So they were doing the strength test on it, and it was a recovery point for like a hitch.
Yeah.
It's just basically a loop that looks really cool. Again, all the colors provided, but they were doing the strength testing, and the only reason why it reached 30,000 pounds at a breaking point was because the D ring that was part of their machine testing broke
Before his bro.
before his broke.
Like I don't think his had any Mars on it even before it got to that point. It
No,
like,
it
wasn't
could
even looking like it was stretching.
Yeah.
No, it could do way more. So yeah, I mean, if you're looking for some products for recovery,
Quality product. Yeah.
yeah, that are also winches, even just toe strap, yankum rope type connection points, this is the way to go.
Well, and that's another thing too. It's like he's most known for the winch, or sorry, for the
Hitch slide.
the hitch slide, which works for most people. But if you have an aftermarket bumper, that's a real high clearance
like me, my dumb
with a
ass.
hidden, hitch. That other D-ring style of slide-in hitch
Yep.
recovery point is a rated point.
Yeah.
that
So you have a
goes in there,
center
so-
recovery point. Yeah.
yeah,
And what's funny, and I don't know if this is a bad thing to talk about it, but there was another company, I don't even know who it was. They
Yeah. Adam got
essentially-
into that with that guy on.
They,
Yeah, I
they
know the
honestly
name, but I don't wanna
copied
say
we
it.
it.
won't. Yeah.
Well, we want to talk. I will talk about the product though.
Yeah, yeah.
So
it's that good of a product.
it's a hitch slide, carbon copy.
yeah. It was. I would say. After I looked at it a few times, it was like a
98%.
95 to 98% identical.
So
copy.
it's a close. It's a what is it? A fraternal twin, not an
It's
identical twin.
basically he took Nepo's original design before Nepo made his finishing touches on it, and then sold it, and then
Yeah.
put his name on it. Now, if it was a one-off, it's one thing. If it's something that he now offers, he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day,
Imitations.
Patent
Imitation
pending, don't
is a
steal
form
somebody
of
else's
flattery.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
but buy it from 4122 because theirs is proven, it's tested, and it's better. Like
Yeah,
you
it's the
said,
original.
It's not quite 100% the other guys. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, there's a patent on it too. So if you knowingly purchase from somebody who's breaking patent law, like there's some moral ambiguities in there.
Yeah,
For you as a person. So
Yep. I agree.
Sorry, I just totally took over your
no, absolutely. I mean, yeah, talk it up because that's my plug. So yeah. And then I also just want to shout out Kate Jorgensen TV and Overland 4 Low. He YouTube channel. He's got a lot of great content on different trails and stuff like that. He just did the Burned Canyon run that we did. Got some cool footage from that. Great guy, great community. The Overland 4 Low. Kind of helps people out with doing trails and stuff like that, and getting people together basically and stuff like that, putting the community together, which is rad.
I think he's also working on putting a trip together that we're all three talking about for mid-ish February too.
Yep.
So
Yeah, we were talking about that as well. And then my last little plug is our YouTube channel. We're gonna try to start getting some YouTube videos.
started a YouTube channel.
Yeah, just to get some kind of content for you guys, just to see what we do. Like we talk about these trips, so we're gonna try to start filming them. We don't know what the fuck we're doing,
We don't know what we're doing.
We have no idea.
I didn't even know we started a YouTube channel until I saw Jared post something. So that's how much I'm in the loop on this. So we don't know what we're doing.
We don't know what we're doing, so don't judge us too harshly. But we just want to try and get you guys some kind of content, like some visual content. Like, we're talking about, we're doing this trail here and there, and like, well, what the fuck are they talking about? So like, we're gonna try to put together some video content. And essentially,
we may even want to do the podcast with some video. Who knows?
We might start working on
might
it.
Become a part of it.
Yeah. We want to integrate that, but like we're baby stepping it. So
and then next thing you know, we need to hire a Jamie, just like Joe Rogan.
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
Hey Jamie, look that up.
Hey Jamie, Google something, but when I tell you it, you don't have to use any of the words that I use.
Yeah.
Have you listened? Have you noticed it? Joe Rogan's like,
his
hey,
fucking mind,
Google this, and this, and Jamie's like, there's no way in hell it's gonna pull up what he wants. Because like I'm a younger guy, like I know how Google works. Ben knows too.
Yeah.
And Ben and I are sitting here like, well, that ain't gonna fucking pull up anything.
No.
He's type in cruise line.
And he wants to see a specific. He wants to see a specific Spirit cruise in Alaska 3 years ago, and he's like, "Pull up cruise line."
Yeah, it's funny. Anyways,
hilarious.
but yeah, the YouTube channel.
Yeah. I mean, you can just the average overlanders. On YouTube, you can like search it up. I think you said our link tree on our Instagram if you really want to look through there. Yeah, I mean, got one up. We're gonna try and work on getting some better footage for you guys, just to kind of see what we're talking about sometimes. So
yeah, no, I'm terrible at recording content. I mean, I bought a drone. I didn't even bring it with me.
Yeah, all the drone footage. Shout out to Nebo because he provided drone footage.
Nebo does like to get his drone in the air.
Yeah.
And I will say, if anybody wants to drive with me, like they ride and fly the drone,
get some footage for you,
Mike.
Yeah, flatbed Tundra.
Oh yeah, but he wants to drive.
Yeah.
I need somebody who's willing to ride with me and put up with my yacht rock.
Yeah.
And fly a drone. If you know how to do that, you're welcome on any trip with me, man. Because we need to get some footage. It'd be fun.
Yeah. So those are my plugs for tonight. So.
Well, cool, man. Well, yeah. Again, this Saturday, Rig for Dirt. Just want to keep that one up there. Look up for the Keith the Jeep as well as Rig for Dirt. Just go follow and figure it out.
Yeah, figure it out. Yeah.
Figure it out. So, and one last one. Sorry.
Yeah, no, get it.
Hulu just dropped a new season of Letterkenny. Oh, Allie did not.
She didn't.
I asked her about it. She's like, "Oh, I thought it was just because they're saying they're offering it now because she thought it was all over."
New season.
Oh no, because they had Shorzy, which had his own little
spin-off. Yeah.
But they have a new season of Letterkenny on Hulu. So sorry if you're a total
you didn't
nerd.
know, we're
To be fair. Yeah, that's where that came from.
Yeah.
So go check it out.
All right, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New
Hope
Year.
you all had a good one, and thanks for joining us in 2023.